welcome to the 309th episode of the Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we'll be talking about it. Today we are recording on November 6, 2022. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and 50% of this here show with me is a man who's coming out of the dark, Carlos Rodella.
Oh, from Halloween?
No, from our power outage.
Oh, yes. There was a lot of power, and it was not on.
Yeah, man. I don't know about your place, but we had I'm not going to say hurricane level winds because we don't get, up until now we don't get hurricanes up here, but we had so much wind, stuff was getting knocked over, and we lost power for a couple hours, and you did too, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. It happened at 10 o'clock at night for me. Is that about the same time for you? Or different?
About maybe 8:39 probably.
Okay. And then, it just was nope, you're going to bed with no power, and that's it. And by the way, it's finally getting cold here in Seattle, so it's oh, no heat for the night. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, dude, it's freezing out here now, yeah. We were out of power for a couple hours, and we were kind of just hoping it would come back because I didn't want to go to bed bored because that sucks. But it was, and we got it back the next day, which is good. So that's fine. And you did too, right?
Yeah, but not the next day. A long time. It was 3 or 4 in the afternoon or something.
Yeah, you were out of power for a lot longer than I was.
Yeah,
so.
But you know what I realized? Besides the Switch and my phone, which I hardly play any games on, I was man, oh man, during a power outage, I would love to have a true battery for my consoles. Or some sort of battery at the house so I could turn my TV on and play my console game until it died, But I guess they had those portable systems for your consoles.
Yeah, there are some. I've seen some that are for PC use, but you can also, I think, reappropriate them for your consoles or just get one of those big old generators and store a bunch of gasoline outside your window or something and just fire it up.
Yeah. No, but remember they had it for the PlayStation 1, for the 360?
Yeah,
It's
a
backpack, but it's also a monitor, and you can play.
Yeah. Exactly right. For the PS1, I used to have one of those real small TV screens that attached to the back of the PlayStation 1.
Oh, yeah.
You flip it up, and there was also a battery pack that went with it. So, yeah, you could plug the whole thing in. It doubled the size of the PS1, but, you could fit it in a bag or a backpack or something.
Wait, so. I guess I'm just saying my answer then. I need to invest in a PS1. with that battery pack that still exists somewhere, and then just if I have a power outage, I can play old school games
on that teeny tiny screen. Go for it. Yeah.
Anywho, we had a power outage. We're back, and I definitely played a ton of games. And fun fact, a game we'll talk about today, Star Ocean. Finally, I finished it just before the power went out. Excellent.
So, quick question, just for the show purposes here. Are you ready to give a score to Star Ocean today, do you think, since you already finished it?
I might. Let me be talking about it, on the show and go sometimes I think of things I didn't like or did like about it when I'm talking about it. So
sure.
Let's play it by ear. I think I have an idea, but
okay. But you did finish it, so you saw everything that there was to see, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, we'll get there when we get there, but right now we're going to do our usual song and dance, and folks who listen to the show know that means housekeeping. Carlos and I share a virtual living space divided down the middle with a strip of duct tape. That's right, it's housekeeping. I got, surprisingly, a couple of things, and some of these are bigger than usual. Carlos, what do you got this week?
Well, first off, there's no more cobwebs here, which I like.
I like that as well.
It's not a haunted housekeeping anymore. And thank you for everybody for listening to our spooktacular episode last night.
Yeah, a lot of good response to that. I was happy.
Yeah. So I have a couple of things. They might be overlapping your things. It might be the same box.
I think maybe we got the same box.
So let me open up this first box that we might both have or both be holding at the same time. Weird. So there was a report that came out that PlayStation lost 2 million subscribers.
Yes, I had the same one. It's a box, but it's got your name and it's got my name. That's so weird. We got to share it. I can't share.
Well, it's okay because I have a take on it. For one, I think it's really interesting to mention. And I got some of this info as well from IGN. But 45 million subscribers PlayStation has.
Okay.
That's a really big number. I didn't really realize how many they had. So if they lose 2 million, say they have 43 million now, right?
Yeah.
Xbox only has 25 million Game Pass.
Sure.
Supposedly the best place to play games, yet there's, it's half or something. So, and then also a report came out at the same time that Xbox Game Pass is not growing. even though we talk about it all the time and everyone likes,
Oh, I didn't see that story. What? Who do you know?
I don't remember the source,
now,
but I looked at a couple different sources to make sure it was real, and it's just basically it's not really growing at the rate they want it to be.
Sure.
And I mean, like you're talking about trying to reach 45 million. If you want to like compare with PlayStation's, then it's not at that level right now. So, yeah. So even though PlayStation dropped those 2 million, and I'm sure it's because, I mean, I was probably one of them, by the way.
Me too.
That 3-tiered system was stupid and still is. So I don't like their service. And so, of course, I'm going to drop it. I still like Game Passes and I still have it. But at the same time, I'm not like using it a ton. So it's not like I'm going to tell all my friends to be like, hey, go sign up for it because all these great games. It's like,
sure.
You know what I mean? And they even mentioned in the article that I was reading, like, you know, there aren't those day one Game Pass huge exclusives like they promised. I'm excited for next year because there's a ton then. But so, yeah, I don't know. That was some of the reporting I saw. And I thought that it was interesting, though, even though PlayStation dropped 2 million, they're like well ahead of Game Pass.
Sure. But, you know, you have to take into account Game Pass was a brand new service, and they're carrying over all of those people who were on the previous service, right? Like, it didn't just start off from nothing. I mean, everybody who's in there converted from what was already there from like the last 10 years. So they're starting at a different place. I mean, Sony had 10-year head start on Game Pass or whatever. So that you got to take that into account as well. So if Xbox is at half of what PSN is, and most of those people auto-converted, then I think they're in a pretty good place. I mean, if they were not like neck and neck off the ground. So that's one thing to consider. I did want to counter, though, also, I don't know about, I mean, everybody's definition of what is big is different. But for me, you know, I think I'm definitely more of an Xbox user this generation than you are, which is fine. I kind of go back and forth. Last time it was all, well, what was it last time? Anyway, regardless, I use Xbox and Game Pass probably a lot more than you do, which is cool. I mean, we have a different perspective and different tastes and blah, 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 whatever. But I think I've actually been really happy with Game Pass. I feel like there's a lot of games that do debut on Game Pass. Speaking of which, Vampire, was it Vampire? That's not Vampire Savior. What's it called? The one you like? That
Vampire Survivor? Or no, I forgot.
No. The one that you were saying you really liked.
I just saw it went to Game Pass too. I know.
Yeah, it's coming to Game Pass.
Twin
and I'm like,
shooter.
Yeah. So like, we may not get like, I mean, like God of War is not coming to Game Pass, obviously for obvious reasons, but anything on par of that, I think it's kind of like a larger systemic Microsoft issue where they just don't have the in-house first-party studios, or they're working on it anyway. But like, there's been a lot of really small stuff, medium stuff that's been debuting on Game Pass, so I'm happy about that. I know that not everybody is in the same boat as me. Not everybody wants the middle or the indie or the small games, but I mean, for me, I'm pretty happy with it. But the thing that I was going to say about this story, which is interesting and kind of dumb, is that even though they're dropping subscribers, it's still profitable. So it's still a very profitable aspect to Sony business. So that's good news for them. But the dumb thing was, this was quoted in VGC News online, and this was a story reported by Andy Robinson. I want to give him due credit because I'm taking his info here. Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki, he blamed this... How do you see this? He blamed the third-party subscriptions and PlayStation 4 sales because people are going outdoors.
Oh,
that's the problem.
Something about that. Yeah,
that's
they're
really
touching
the problem.
Grass now.
Yes, they're touching grass and they're going outdoors. So if people would simply stop touching the grass and stay inside, Sony's income would go back up and people would resubscribe. So clearly it's your fault because the outside exists.
That's silly. I mean, again, there's also seasonal things. Like, people are just, like, getting rid of subscriptions in general. Like, right? Because that's a ebb and flow. Like, you go, okay,
totally.
I don't need Hulu anymore. Or I do. Or
Exactly.
Like, last night, I got Peacock. I got it again because I wanted to watch SNL Live, right?
Yep.
And then I'll get rid of it at some point, you know? So, anyways, I think that's just natural. It's almost like the weather or something. Or seasonal, I should say. But I'm going to stick with the fact that, like, even though PlayStation, was carrying over a bunch of subscribers, they're fine. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, they're fine. They're fine.
When we talk about Game Pass, I think a lot, not to make it too long of a tangent, I just feel like the rhetoric is like, oh, it's the best thing in the world, and it's like, and it's the reason why people are going to Xbox. But like, there's a ton of people who just live on PlayStation. They don't care about getting something new. You know, like, it's just like, no, I'm just a subscriber of this. This is my game system, and that's it. So
Oh yeah, some people, not everybody is like we are. I mean, not everybody. I mean, I think the vast majority of people, if you really looked at it, would have one console and they would just stay there. We're on the fringe, right? Like, I'm a lifelong gamer, hardcore. I'm the fucking editor of a goddamn website. Of course, I need to have all the systems, and I see that as my normal. But that's not normal for everybody. Like when people come to my house, which is never, but before COVID and stuff, they'd be like, "Holy shit, what's going on in here? We're in a fucking internet cafe," and I'm like, "No, this is my living room," because my wife plays, my kid plays. And we have TVs all over the place. We have, cords all over the place. And that's just normal for us. But I realize I'm like on the far extreme. And probably you're on the far extreme because you got PC, you've got Xbox, PlayStation. But for those people who just have one console, you pick your lane and you stay there. And that's just kind of the natural order of things for most people, I think.
Yeah. Well, did you have anything else on that story, or do
No,
we
just
move
that.
on?
I just thought it was ridiculous that guy kept talking about people going outside as the reason that
No.
PlayStation. I mean, don't even say that. That's so dumb. Don't even say it.
Well, there's a lot of people who'd say a lot of dumb things on the internet right now.
That is fucking true.
That is true. A second story that's kind of related was PlayStation mentioned their PSVR 2,
Oh yeah.
and they gave us the price, and they said it's next February, $550. Really
Yeah.
expensive.
Feel like that's pretty spent. You get a Steam Deck for that.
Yes, but also I'll credit Max from IGN because I was listening to him talk about this. The last PSVR, the first one, was about $450, I think, or $400, and then you still had to buy the Move controllers and everything. So it turned out to be around the same price.
Yeah.
And the difference is, I don't know if you've been watching, but the PSVR 2 is sick. Like, it's got some cool ass motion tracking in the helmet, right? So everything is just much more clean, like a Quest 2 or something. And it just feels like an all-in-one device. Like, you don't have to buy a bunch of extra shit this time. It's all there. It's all better, like hardcore better.
Yeah.
And a lot of good titles. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn, PSVR version. It's obviously a second game. It's not like the actual game.
Right.
But still, like, there's just a ton of stuff that I got to say, when I played PSVR, like, I had a great time because there wasn't enough games. But that headset was very comfortable. I mean, probably the most comfortable I've had, hands down. I don't know if we talked about that, but even my Quest 2, like, kind of slips off my head all the time. And so I'm excited to put on another helmet that's, like, really comfortable because I think they know how to do it really well. And then secondly, to have some pretty fun, first party or, like, third party titles come out for it.
Well, I'm not really in the market for VR stuff, but my kid is really jonesing for it, like pretty hard. They're putting on the screws and they're like, dad, VR. And it sucks that, like, I think both of their friends have a VR. I don't think they have the same one, but, like, in that age group, 13, 14, 15, there definitely seems to be some adoption, at least in my social circle. So that's kind of putting pressure on me. I was recently looking at the PSVR. Probably not going to buy a second PS5. We only have one in the house, and that's mine. And because we're kind of like an Xbox family this generation, but I don't think we will probably get a second PS5. But maybe I would let my kid play one. But the interesting twist of the story is that a rumor, or at least strongly reported, it's going to be direct sale only. It seems like Sony is, at the moment anyway, not announcing any retail partnerships. It's going to be, you have to order it from like PlayStation.com or whatever. So a lot of retailers are feeling like maybe they're getting cut out right now. They're going to be missing that initial rush, and they're feeling kind of burned. And so people are thinking that's not a really smart move on Sony's side. Not really sure why they are instigating this kind of like, yeah, you guys don't get in here on the gravy train until later on. It's possible they could do some retail sales later, and that seems to be probably what they're going to do. But this is kind of confusing to people. I'm not sure if it's a supply issue or if there's some other issue going on, but that's kind of the buzz I'm hearing is retailers are kind of irritated with them right now.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. And also, I'm trying to think of a reason. And I think the only reason would be, obviously, you've heard, we've all talked about always on the show that you can't get new systems still, kind of.
Yeah, it's still a problem for sure.
So it maybe they control the supply and like the portal of how you can get it. Maybe it makes it easier for them. I don't know.
I mean, it's got to be a supply issue. I can't understand. I mean, who knows, right? I don't know, but
right.
It
if
doesn't
you're like
seem
giving
to me
it to Target, or if you could just do it all yourself, I feel like maybe that helps you then.
I mean, I feel like you would want to get this out to as many people as possible. So why would you limit that? Because, I mean, there's a certain percentage of people who are not going to buy something like from Sony.com regardless. Like, you're going to get your early adopters and your hardcore folks. But, like, Joe Blow off the street or whatever, or like, person who's just kind of like looky-looing at the Target shelf is not going to see it there. They're not going to buy it there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and how that affects their partnerships with retail in the future. So
Yeah,
TBD, I guess. Yeah.
TBD, and I don't think my gut is it's not a good move, but at the same time, I think the only reason it would be is because, again, you've got to ship stuff to retailers, then they give it to the customer. That's just one extra leg of distribution. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't have the answer on that. What else you got, Carlos?
The other thing about services, before I leave services, is Netflix. They've talked about doing games before. They have this weird thing where they click out to a mobile game that's not really gaming. It's weird.
Like it's active right now, right? It's already happening, right?
Yeah, but no one uses that. I mean, no offense, Netflix. Come on. It's just mobile games.
Nobody even knows about it, really.
Yeah, it's not even on their homepage or anything. But the article came out somewhere, don't do my homework, that said they're finally going to do cloud streaming, which is funny because of Stadia just failing. But Netflix, maybe they're better infrastructure, better delivery, bandwidth, I don't know. But yeah, they're talking about doing a cloud gaming service. So that you basically you just go to the homepage, right, and you go, I want to click this new show or I want to play this game.
Like if you're on your PC interface, because we watch Netflix, I mean, like as I would imagine most people do, or at least a good portion on our actual TV. I don't usually watch it on my computer or laptop. I mean, it's got to be just for that, right? I mean, unless there's a couple games you can play with your you got to buy like a second controller if you want to play it through your TV, maybe?
That sounds like Stadia, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
But so maybe they might just be filling the void for Stadia because people did want to believe in it, and maybe they have a better infrastructure, and also they have a customer base that's crazy, right? So that's their biggest thing is we already have these people coming to our homepage, so if we put a game on that homepage, it's probably going to get played. But by the way, I almost exclusively watch Netflix on my PC. So that's what's different.
Interesting.
And it must be said, because we talk about this all the time, I'm on my PC and you're not. I bought one a while ago when I had a job.
A PC?
And I had money. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's one of the nicest PCs I've ever owned. It's an all-in-one, and it's super widescreen, very big. I don't know what size this is, but it seems, the size of a good
it's like
small
a large.
TV.
It's like a large.
Yeah, it's a large. It's extra large. And then, and it's 4K. So it's this is almost, equal to my TV.
Sure.
So yeah, I just live on this thing. So I don't
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how prevalent that is these days because of, I'm certainly from a previous generation, and so are you, but you're kind of keeping up with the PC side of things more than I am. You're still kind of living the single guy lifestyle, and I'm more like the settled family dude. So our needs and our time spent at home is different. I wonder how many people these days are using a PC, kind of like you said, as an all-in-one device. It's my information, it might be my remote job, it's also my TV, maybe it's my gaming as well. I wonder how many people are living that lifestyle. I'd be curious.
I would say that's a lot.
Probably more than I think.
Than you think. Yeah, dude.
I think you're right.
Because I talk to a lot of people that's what we do. Yeah, it's just almost it's secondary to go to the TV. It's a weirder thing for me now.
Interesting. Boy,
Anywho,
modern life, huh? Modern life.
I need to go touch grass.
What is grass? Where do you touch it? I don't know.
It's outside.
What's outside?
What's I go outside more than you do, for sure.
You do. You definitely do.
So what do you got on your side?
I just have one thing. I wanted to circle back and talk about Signalis, which we talked about, I don't know, last episode or the episode before or something like this. Just to kind of circle back and follow up. My initial impressions of it were really good, and I still really like it a lot. This is coming from a small team. It's kind of a isometric or semi-top down, very, very, very homage-ish sort of experience, touching back to not Grass, but Silent Hill or Resident Evil, the old school, kind of tank controls Resident Evil. Not that this game has tank controls, but walking around the hallways, got a flashlight, got a gun, lots of keys, tons of keys and puzzles and stuff, old school Resident Evil, and also the weirdness, psycho trippiness of Silent Hill. But it's set in space. Your main character is a replica, which is not a human being, but something that is based off of a human being and is different in a couple of ways. Not going to get into the weeds here. But overall, I really liked it. And I played it a lot. It did not seem like my jam because I don't like keys shaped like chess pieces and locks that are shaped like shields or whatever. I'm kind of done with that. I don't want to do that anymore. And I kind of don't like survival horror very much anymore, but this one was really clicking for me, mostly on the basis of the story, which you so rightly called out, I think last episode, saying there's a lot of parallels to Moon, the film by Duncan, what's his name, who is the son of David Bowie. I forget what his name is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That guy. Duncan Jones, I think his name is, the director.
Sounds right.
Yeah, so like that movie was great, and I love that movie. This has a lot of those same echoes in the game, and I think that's what was keeping me in. I'm so curious about the story, so curious about the setting. I wanted to see where it was going to go. Liked it a lot, and I powered through. I got stuck a couple times, but I powered through the stuckness, and I got what I thought was the end. Now, we talked about this last time, didn't we, or did we?
We did, yeah.
We did, okay. So I thought I finished it. Actually didn't finish it. There was a secret other bit at the end. I was 2 seconds away from deleting it off my hard drive because I thought I was done. Saw credits and everything. And then I saw somebody mention there was this other section that I didn't know what they were talking about. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I went back and checked, and there's a whole, like, 2 more sections after you roll credits and quote unquote finish the game that you got to keep going. And the game doesn't really tell you that, which I was really kind of pissed off about because I was just about to quit and move on with my life, and I didn't finish the game. So I went back into it, and I really wanted to finish the game. But you know what I did? I fucking noped out, and I'll tell you why. I was maybe 15, well, I don't know, maybe 15, 20, maybe no more than an hour away from the end. And that's being generous. I think it's probably shorter than that. But this second section, not only, number one, I was mad because I didn't even know it was there. I just happened to find it on accident. So I feel like that was kind of, I don't know, like disrespectful in some way or something. Like, you're not even going to let me know that there's even this whole other section to go to. I was going to walk away and not even realize I didn't finish the game. That's to me feels dirty somehow, and I'm not quite sure how, but I feel somehow disrespected by that.
Well, it's weird because there was credits.
There was rolled fucking credits and everything. A little achievement popped and all that stuff. A little cutscene at the end. So it felt to me like it was over. But beyond that, I get to this next section, and it is just like doubling down on the puzzles, and then it doubles down on the combat. And I realized that in the last time we talked about this, I was like, oh, you know, it would be cool if they kind of let go of the puzzles and just kind of lean into the combat, at least for the end section, to give you more of an adrenaline rush, which they did. But then they doubled the combat, but then doubled the puzzles. And I'm like, by this time, I'm so tired of the puzzles. Like, so many just weird puzzles, and a lot of them that don't make sense. I know some of them did, and those are good. But I feel like the puzzles in this game had to be reduced by like 90%, and then I would feel like it's in a much better space. So I just wanted to circle back and say, despite the fact that I really like this game a lot, I gave it a lot of love when I talked about it on the show, I really cooled off. And in fact, I completely noped out. And by the time I was in the second post-game section, I was just done. I was tired of doing the puzzles. I was tired of running back and forth. I was tired of shooting the enemies that get back to life. I was like, okay, you have worn me out, Signalis. You have worn out my goodwill. You have worn me out physically, and I'm done with this. So it's really disappointing because I feel like if they had tightened it up, less puzzles, and just kind of got in, got out, and didn't play that little surprise bit at the end, I feel like I would have had a really good experience with it, and I would probably recommend it to people. But now I feel like it doesn't know when to quit, and it just kept going and going, and it was just too much.
Well, can you just say that you had a good time with the part that you played in the credits when you rolled it, and that's it?
That's fair. When I got to the fake ending, I had a good experience up to the fake ending.
Yeah.
And if I had noped out at that point, I would have said that was a good ending, and I was fine, and I was happy with it. But they really got on my bad side in that final leg, and it just really soured me on the whole thing. So anyway, just wanted to follow that back up, because I know we often talk about games here. We talk about a lot of games, and there's no way we can finish every game that we talk about in the show. And a lot of times, because so many games have good experiences in the first hour, 2, 3, 4 hours, but then save their shit for the end because it's less polished. People know that less people play that far, so they spend a lot of time at the beginning and at the end. I want to make sure that we do our due diligence when we can to say, hey, this game was good all the way through,
right,
or, oh, this game had a good first 2 hours, then it got shitty. We don't get to say that for every game, but in this case, I did have the chance. I did want to say, strong start, strong middle, but boy, it really, really turned me off by the end. So.
Yeah, I think in the beginning of the show, we should probably bring some games back more. That's a good time for it. And housekeeping.
Yeah. If we get that chance, let's do it.
Yeah, and I'll do that for a couple games that we might talk about today. Also, though, we'll talk about Star Ocean later, and I can talk about how what you just said, they drop the ending sometimes, but things happen weird at the ending sometimes because you're like, I'm in uncharted territory here.
Dude,
people sometimes don't get to this spot. Anywho, let's move on. I think we're done with housekeeping.
Yeah, I think we're done with housekeeping. Okay. Yeah, so let's get into the main portion of the show here. So, folks, I'm going to give you just a warning, a disclaimer. Today is one of those days, for me anyway, I don't think for Carlos, but for me, where I save up a bunch of games that I feel like are probably not going to hit with me, but I have an obligation to kind of cover them anyway. So I save them all up for one big show where I'm going to just burn through a bunch of stuff where I'm like, didn't like it, didn't like it, didn't like it, didn't like it, didn't like it. But I will say I do end strong with 2 really great picks, which I'm very happy with. But the first couple ones I'm going to talk about, not great. So full disclosure, if you're a person who doesn't like to hear the negativity, maybe skip my sections and jump to the end. But I'll do my best to get through these. But we're gonna start. We're gonna start with Carlos. Okay. I have no idea whether this is good or bad, but Wavetale, PC, and this is was this preview or was this full game?
I think this is. Oh, I think I have the full game, but it's not out yet, so it's a preview. Wait, should we check? Did we look at the embargo?
I should check. Go ahead and start talking. I'm pretty sure it's fine. I wouldn't put it on the show.
It's probably pretty soon, I think, but I don't think it's out yet.
Cover it as normal. Covered it
as normal. So it's from Thunderful Games. I forgot what else they do.
Oh, they do lots of stuff. They're the SteamWorld people.
Oh,
they
that's
did that
right.
downhill mountain biking game. I forget what that one's called, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Put out a lot of great games. So this game is, what should I say? How should I say? This is not a negative thing. I'm trying to think of a positive way. It's like a welcome surprise is what it is.
Okay, cool.
A welcome surprise. I saw some of the videos and some of the pictures, but I tried not to look at any of it because I wanted to be surprised. Huh? Yeah, there you go. And what this game is a third-person action-adventure type game. You play as a girl, Sigrid, and she is on an island in this area where all the cities were flooded, so everything's underwater. And there's a few things that are above water. And in these little islands that you live on, you live with your grandmother, who's like a stern grandmother and really fun and voice acted very well. And she's like, holding down the fort. And you basically live on this little island and series of islands. And there's this fog that rolls around. And there's all these creatures that are bad called the Dirty Paws. And they're
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're called Dirty Paws.
Oh my god. Okay.
Why is that a thing about something?
That just sounds like you're watching an 80s cartoon on Saturday morning, and they're really warm and colorful and safe for kids. And the bad guys are called the Dirty Paws.
Well, it's kind of like it's funny you alluded to that because it's kind of like it is a heartwarming game. It feels really good and yummy. Like, this is a really relaxing, yummy game, which, by the way, I've mentioned before on the article I just did over at Taming Gaming, as well as what I use Star Ocean for, is, when you're having a tough time with life, it's nice to get these warm games that make you feel good. This is what that does, right? So, there's monsters and you do have to fight them, but they're not like the core thing of the game. It's really about like exploring this world and trying to figure out how to help grandma and also help the villagers who like live in these little islands.
So let me ask you a question. I feel like we're bearing the lead here. Like, the thing about this game is like you swim and stuff, right? That's the whole point of it, right?
I'm getting there.
Okay, all right. That's like I'm looking at the video and I'm like, I haven't Carlos mentioned swimming yet, and it seems like all I'm looking at is swimming right here.
I know. So you got the setup, right? Third person, run around, jump, dash. A dash? That's a dash and a dodge together.
Jamp and dash.
You jamp and dash. So the dodge is very good, by the way. I like the dodge.
Okay, all right.
It's just kind of a quick dodge, the little jump back kind of move, but it's very well. And at some point in the very early part of the game, there's this fog that rolls around. There's these creatures. You're on the islands. There, like a little creature shows up. Again, this is the very beginning of the game. And it's underwater, and it stays underwater. And it kind of looks like you a little bit, but like an Atlantean, like an underwater.
Like it's got fins or something?
It looks something like that, yeah. Anyway, so this creature does this really cool thing in the beginning of the game where it sticks its foot up in the air, and it's upside down, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, what is it doing? It's like trying to be like nice. It's like trying to be welcoming because normally the water's scary. You don't want to go in the water. And so it basically is saying to the girl, come here and step on my foot. And so you step on the foot, and then for the rest of the game, it's basically the inverse of you underwater, and then it allows you to walk on water. But then by doing that, it also lets you swim and surf on water. So it's like helping you, whoever this creature is, and you can do all those things you saw in the trailer, which you can traverse and basically surf. And it is so relaxing. Like they
Okay.
nailed it, dude.
Just the motion, the swimming,
motion,
all that stuff.
You hit right trigger to speed up, and when you speed up, it feels so good. And then you jump and do a little bit of tricks. You know, you can go under the water for a little while with your little friend, and go really fast, and then come back up and jump really high. It feels amazing. Like it's so fun. And then you just do it to traverse to, mainly other areas, right? So there's also that grappling hook thing, which a lot of games have. When you do that, you can jump up to a higher area. Again, you kind of surf through tubes a little bit, and you're always picking up things. So you're collecting things for cosmetic upgrades. You're also picking things up for the missions. So there's these things called sparks, and you got to get them to power things like generators and stuff. But so far, the story is just heartwarming. You meet friends, you meet people who are kind of like covered in gunk. It actually feels like the game The Gunk a little bit.
Okay.
Where there's like this kind of black ooze everywhere, and if you hit it with your whatever you got, your attack thing, you'll get rid of it. And also, like, the villagers are stuck in the gunk, so you kind of free them from it. And so you're kind of doing that. There's a collectathon kind of game as well, so you're picking up things for people to do side quests. But it's just heartwarming and good and feels great, and I couldn't stop playing it. I was like, this is a surprise.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I double checked. We are definitely outside of the embargo, so we're fine to talk about it. And this is just kind of in a preview sense. It's not ready for release yet, but it sounds great. I was watching the video. It looks so cool. Just like the leaping and the water and the diving and stuff. Like, it seems very fluid and fast and kind of just I don't know, just real flowing everywhere. I mean, it feels, and you're saying it feels great, so that's wonderful. I wonder, watching the video is very cool, but I don't quite get a sense of, like, is there also like on ground regular platforming stuff, or are you in the water like 90% of the time?
You're in the water like 20% of the time.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Like I was saying, you kind of traverse the different islands with that, and it's fun. And I think that later on, probably later game, they'll do some kind of missions, that are mainly focused on that. But for right now, all of it's about platforming,
Wow.
a jump and a double jump, which by the way is very good.
Okay.
The attacking of the monsters and cleaning up the kind of goop stuff, and finding things for people on side missions. So, and also, by the way, all the art is awesome. The art is so cool.
The colors too. I love the
colors are cool. It's like a hand drawn, but also pixelated. And then in the little notebook that you pick up all these different updates to your notebook, and it's telling you about the world, right? And all those little drawings in the notebook are so cool. They're just like really detailed and stuff. And I'm excited to find out little new stories to put in that book, which normally I'm not. And then, yeah, you're like really kind of like going up high onto these like towers, or big portions of the city that are still there, and you're trying to find things. So, yeah, and again, it's voice acted so well. It's not voice acted the whole time, but it's voice acted a lot. And the grandma is so heartwarming yet mean, and or stern. She's stern.
Gruff, perhaps.
Gruff, maybe. Yeah. Anyways, I like it a lot. I think it's really done well. I can't stop playing it. It's really seldom I say that for a game like this, which is just kind of a simple action adventure game where you do some combat. But it feels like The Gunk in the way that I think I'm just gonna like beat it quick. Like The Gunk was the same way. I was like, I can't believe I'm enjoying this so much. Oh my goodness! And then I just beat it.
A lot of momentum to a game like this.
Yeah, there really is a lot of momentum
Yeah.
to this. Yeah, because you're kind of jumping to the next point, and then you can have some fun in the water, and I can't recommend it enough. Wavetale, a big surprise.
Excellent. I'm really glad to hear you say that, because I was very curious about this one. I didn't want to play it on PC. I'm sure it's coming to all the consoles. I'd be very shocked if it didn't. But it just looks so warm and colorful. The colors are just, the blues and the pinks and everything, and the way that person is just like on the water. I was kind of surprised to hear you say there was so much on ground, because most of the videos are featuring the water play. That's not a thing I should say. But you know what I mean, like the diving and the dashing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it looks very cool. I'm definitely into something like this. I haven't played anything so kinetic and so, I don't know, just like freewheeling in quite a while. It would be nice to do something where you're just kind of frolicking,
Yeah, I feel like they keep alluding to other like townspeople being surfers, but I haven't like found a section so far of the game that's just about that. But I'm guessing it's coming because, you're doing a lot of tricks and stuff on the water. So I bet that's going to be a quest line at some point, and maybe I'll be even surfing with other people. But
Okay.
it's just, and also a very novel idea. Like this little creature is the inverse of you, like underneath the water the whole time. Very
That's
weird.
weird. Yeah, kind of strange. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Wavetale, and coming from Thunderful as a publisher, I believe. I don't think they're the studio, but I think they are putting it out. So cool. Keep an eye out for that one. Sounds great.
Check it out. Wait, hold on. I want to get the developer because I don't like not knowing that. Oh, it's
Yeah.
both. It's developed and published by them.
Oh, okay. Nice surprise. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, they make great games. I'm sure we are going to be in good hands then. So right on. All right, let me burn through a couple of these here. I'll get through. This is kind of unprecedented, but looking at the rest of the show, let me get through 4 that I don't like.
Holy crap. Well, before you get going, hold on. I got to settle in.
Settle
I
in,
should probably get a pot of coffee.
Get a
Also,
coffee, get a blanket maybe if you want.
I might need that.
Pillow.
But also, it is Vampire Survivors. I was right.
Yeah, okay, Vampire Survivor. That didn't sound right.
Survivors.
Survivors.
It is. It's a weird name. It's
All right,
a
it's making me
super
think of
addictive
that-
game, though.
It's making me think of that one that's also Darkstalkers, but they call it Vampire Survivor in Japan. So maybe I was thinking, maybe
okay.
there's like an international issue there. But yeah, same name but different game depending on what continent you're on, I guess. So, anyway,
And actually, I am going to go get a cookie to chew on. Right
Go
now.
ahead.
So
I'll
I'm
be
gonna
talking
get
for
that.
a while. You got
You
plenty of time.
start, and
You
I'll
got
be
plenty of
right
time.
back in 1 second. Here you go.
All
Go.
right. So talking about Space Tale, this is a new 2D platforming game where you play as a dog. Who I guess goes to some training program, bonds with this kid, but then they ship the dog off to space. So you're supposed to go through the expected like tear-jerking kind of story where the dog wants to get back to the boy, and you're assuming the boy wants to get back to the dog. But the dog ends up on some planet somewhere, and he's got a very cute little spacesuit on. Got a little helmet, like the bubble style helmet, where he's breathing air inside that thing. And it seems like at first like you're going to get like a pretty lighthearted platformy sort of thing where it's just really probably about the kid and the dog and the story and whatnot. That's actually not what you get. This one kind of threw me for a loop. It actually ended up being kind of a technical and really difficult platformer, which I found to be pretty unpleasant. So first off, once you get into the planet where you're at and you're controlling the dog, I feel like the physics of it are off. I feel like the dog moves too fast, like the momentum is too fast. I felt like he just kind of is it's too skittish and squirrely, and I feel like he should move a little bit slower. So that was kind of weird. I just felt like it was all just a little bit too jerky. There's also this other thing where they rush you through the tutorial, and I feel like there's a lot more than you would expect going on in this game. In fact, too much. For example, you run and jump, you can crawl as a dog also, all the dog things you'd expect, but there's also a menu button that you hit that has a menu of 3 selections: sight, smell, and sound, and those are all like different filters that you can see the world through. So you're constantly flipping through, oh, maybe I need the sight filter to see something that I can't normally see, or maybe I need the smell filter to smell something I can't normally do, which kind of sucks to me because I feel like it would be great if those things were implemented just without having to pull up a filter, just like in the world. Like, you'll see a puff of smoke, but you don't see anything. You click over to the menu, select smell, and then it becomes green. And I was like, oh, green's dangerous. Watch out for that one. And then it would be better if you were just like walking through the level and you saw the green smoke without having to go through the filter. It just is, like one less hoop to jump through to get that information. But there's a lot going into this, and I feel like it didn't really teach me very well. Like you're walking through, and then you got to remember, oh, check this other filter. Should I check for smell? Oh, check for hearing. How far can I hear? Like there's a lot to manage. It feels very fiddly. And one of the very first things that I got stuck on was the game tells you your scent, not what you're smelling, but how the dog smells, is changed by if you happen to go into water. So like you smell like a regular dog at first. You go in dirty water, you smell like, I guess, dirty wet dog. And then you need to smell a different way by going into clean water. So you're also managing like how you smell yourself.
What?
Which is on top of the 3 filters of your different senses, which is on top of the platforming, which is too fast, which is really lethal platforming. There's lots of spikes. I died like a bunch in the very first level because I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm just dying left and right. It just was very too much going on, too much at the beginning, too much to handle. I wanted a much slower ramp up. And I think that's kind of a common theme with most of the games I did not care for this week, was not being very mindful of the player's experience when starting your game. And I get this is a common problem in the indie space where indie developers have an idea and they like their idea. I mean, of course you like it, otherwise why would you make this game? And they kind of get carried away with themselves, and they forget what it feels like to be a person who has not been making this game for 2 years in a row, right? And so often, like, they'll rush you in, throw you a bunch of stuff. They want you to get the good part, or what they think is the good part. And what ends up happening is, like, you just feel like your face is blasted off because there's too much happening. It's going too quickly. You're not familiar with the systems, the way the developers are, and you just kind of nope out, right? Like, these days, and I've said this before on the show, these days there are so many choices and so many affordable choices, so many platforms, so many games to play that you cannot give someone a game and think, I want you to want to get into this game, because if there's even any friction at all, it's so easy to just go play something else.
Yeah.
You got to really, like, take your time, welcome a person, give them a hug, give them that cookie, give them the blanket, say, hey, this is a really good time for you. Not that I'm saying it has to be easy. I'm just saying explain yourself, explain your concepts, go slow, don't overwhelm the player. I mean, be challenging or whatever you want to, but there's a difference between a game that is challenging and a game where I just don't understand what the fuck is going on because you told me 17 different menu prompts in the first 5 seconds and I don't remember them now. You know what I mean?
I want to add to that real quick. One, I think that this is a little bit of a tangent, but like so many of the games also that bother me is when they do have so many different systems. And you're like, I'm just trying to get a hold of this first system so I can understand.
Exactly, 100%.
So
dude.
it just happened to me, like, I don't know, with like 3 or 4 games this week. So I get that. Secondly, I will say, to go back to Wavetale, they did it right. And the fact that, like, they introduced jumping, right? And then there was, like, the wave thing wasn't even a thing. It was just jumping and
you
dodging.
just, like, jump for a while, right?
Yeah, I dodge. I learned how to fight monsters. I learned more of the story. Here's the key thing, right? And this is a tangent now, is because, like, I think a key thing is, we're deciding to spend our time on this thing, whatever it is, piece of entertainment, Netflix show, whatever.
We are spending our actual lifespan
time,
yes.
right? Because we only have so much lifespan.
Exactly.
And so what we want to do is get invested. And that's why we'll keep doing whatever it is. Like,
exactly.
I finally, like a lot of other people, noped out of Westworld. And they just got canceled, by the way. And so, but like, they invest, I got invested in the beginning in the first season and for certain reasons, right? They did certain triggers and they got me in and they kept me for the whole season. There's the same thing with games. And so like with Wavetale, they got me invested in the story because the grandmother's voice acting was really good, right? That's important. Like the voice acting. Yeah. And I was like, I care about my grandma. I'm not this girl, but I am this girl now. I'm Sigrid,
Exactly.
And then they said, okay, now you can do this weird thing where you can go in the water. And then they showed me tricks a little bit, not too much. And then they're like, go back to the thing which is platforming. I'm actually doing this in real time to show you how it should be done. And then you do the platforming again. You're like, oh, I feel good about this. Oh, there's the combat again. I feel good about this. And then they added puzzles. Right? But they added the puzzles after what I just told you.
After you'd mastered everything they had showed you before. Yes.
And then I felt very, very good. And again, I kept going like, man, to myself, I was like, they did everything right.
Yeah. It's a skill. It's a fucking skill. It really is. And Thunderful, who was Image Informed before, they're great at that. I mean, that's one of their best skills. Their games are really masterful and teaching like systems and abilities and challenges, like in a pace that you can learn them. And that's great for any game developer. And I feel like most of these games that I don't like today are stumbling at that. Mm-hmm. I mean, this game, Spacetail, I would have really liked that the first level was, hey, no spike traps, no instant death, which it had both of those things. Let me just walk around a little bit. Let me talk to the boy, or let me find just something small. Let me jump a couple times. Let me do the smell thing a couple times, but nothing too overwhelming. And then once I feel like I've got a lock on that, then the next level is like, oh, okay, well now you got to crawl, and then you got to use your hearing for something. Like, it was just like way too much, way too fast, and all of it was lethal if you didn't get it right. And it was like, are you kidding me? Like instant kill spike traps in this game with a cartoony dog wearing a spaceman helmet? That does not jibe to me. So,
by the way, real quick to that point, and this is another thing I didn't mention, and this is just like really an extended Wavetale review, but I tell you what, they also did right. One, not instant death, right? So
yeah, it's always a bummer, dude.
I think I got hurt a couple of times in the beginning, but like it was fine. I didn't have to even heal myself, And secondly, and oh my goodness, God bless him for this, no stamina. So
good, yeah.
So I'm dodging as much as I want. And then when you jump, there's a new move you learn later on. You can hold the button down and float for a while,
Nice.
And am I running out of float time? Nope, not at all, ever.
Nice.
Ever.
Nice.
And so it's like, until I want to stop hitting the button, that's when I'll drop.
Yeah.
And I was like, it just opens up the world. And you're like, I could just do whatever I want in here.
Yeah, I mean that seems pretty great, and to support the kind of experience that they seem clearly they are going for, which is wonderful. And I'm glad it's not Souls-like. In fact, I'm going to applaud every game that does not have a stamina meter from now on, because I'm kind of just over it. But yeah, it's just a real skill, and I feel like Space Tale. I don't think that they have their aesthetic matching with their gameplay, and I think they really fumbled the opening like pretty hard. I bet they're probably a group of really nice people. I bet they have a really clear idea in mind of what they want to do, but I don't feel like they were successful in getting me into their world, and I did not get invested. In fact, I bounced off it really hard. So all right, same story again with Paper Cut Mansion. This one just came out recently. It is just about a top-down roguelike, and I guess one of the initial hooks, and you might be able to tell this from the title, is all the graphics look like they are papercraft. It looks like somebody took a piece of paper, cut out some shapes, and then glued them into like 3D shapes, as if you were doing kind of like a weird origami sort of a thing. That the levels are made out of paper, the characters made out of paper. He walks like he's got like he's made of sheets of paper, kind of. So that's an interesting aesthetic. I don't know that it really makes a lot of sense with what the game actually is, but it's an aesthetic. Because to me, if you're going to do that kind of thing, then everything about that game should have to like interact with the paper. But it ends up feeling kind of just like it could just be like a regular character in regular graphics. It still would work. So a little bit of missed opportunity there. You start off the game, and the game, even in the opening song, says, "I don't know why I'm here. I'm just doing this stuff." And I'm like, yep, that is accurate, because I don't know what's going on. You're walking along a road. You see a spooky house. You get sucked into the house. Boom, you're inside the house. And then you're like doing stuff. And you don't know why. You're just there. This game, I feel like, oh man, I bounced off this so hard and so fast. It's very confusing. They don't give you a good story to start off with, so you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it. They have a bunch of systems that just kind of hit you in the face all at once and don't explain very much of them. And you're kind of searching around and solving puzzles, and like right off the bat, I found some puzzle that needed like 3 or 4 different digits, and there was like this other like letter order puzzle, like tons of puzzles. But you're walking around, you got a flashlight, and you're like in this random house. There's no map, and so the house is really big, so you're walking from room to room from a top-down perspective. And I was going in circles because I'm like, is this the same room? Because it's all made of paper, and these rooms all have the same kind of furniture in them, like a lot of reused assets, right? And so, oh, is this the room with the clock? Oh no, this is a different room with another clock. Okay, nope, that's just a thing. I got circling myself like over and over and over, which was not great. And on top of that, being lost because I'm not great without a map. There are also these quote unquote dimensions to the house, and you'll like walk into a room. There's like a rip in space-time fabric, and I'm like, oh, different dimension. What does that mean? All it means is they change the color filter of the house that you're already in, and what's in the house changes. So the room doesn't change except for the color. Let's say you're in the kitchen. You go into like this other dimension, and then instead of puzzle bits, there's enemy bits, but it's the same room, the same place that you were. And so the game is like, oh, you've got to go through the 3 different dimensions to figure out to solve these puzzles, and there's also combat, so watch out for that. And it was just like, dude, what is even happening here? Like, but it's also paper, but it doesn't really mean anything that it's paper. And I got to remember where I'm at, and there's no map. And then there's also 3 different dimensions. So I could be in kitchen A, I could be in kitchen B, I could be in kitchen C. It's kind of hard to tell which one you're in. And then the thing on top of that is like in every room, much like with the overcomplicated system in Space Tale, you have to constantly search for items. And I'm like, these guys really needed to like think about why they're doing this, because in every room there's like a bunch of reused furniture assets, and they all have a drawer. It's like a cabinet with a drawer, a shelf with a drawer, dresser with a drawer, and in every room you have to click on the drawer, and the thing comes up, you look at it, you examine it, and then you have to open the drawer, and then you have to rotate it to look inside the drawer every single time, multiple times in every room. And I'm like,
Jeez.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you making me look at these assets over and over? What is the value in making me click on 14 dresser drawers and look in 14 drawers when that item could just be on top of the drawer or just in the room on the floor? Like, what is the point of me clicking? Is it because you're so proud of your papercraft and you think this drawer looks really cool? It does, but it looks way less cool the 17th time I'm looking at it. So there's a lot of stuff in this game that doesn't make any sense, and I don't mean to disparage anybody personally. I don't know these people. I'm not trying to be insulting or anything, but like from a game design perspective, There is a lot that doesn't make any sense whatsoever in this game. It starts off really poorly with too many systems. It has you doing a lot of busy work that it doesn't add any value. You don't get invested because you don't know what's going on. I feel like these people, again, probably had a really great idea. They probably know in their heads what they want to do and what they want the player to experience, but that is not communicated in the opening hours, and it does not come across at all. It just comes across as a lot of really annoying busy work that got fumbled pretty hard from square one. Yeah, Paper Cut Mansion.
Yeah, it does look cool though too. It sucks.
It looks neat, but boy, I just had nothing but a bad experience. Next game is Robotry.
Before we get to it, let's give the listeners a quick break from the downer.
Okay, sure.
And here's a positive: is I just saw on Steam that the Mix Next showcase is happening.
Oh God, another
showcase. I know, but just
I'm dying from the showcases, Carlos.
It's fine.
Every time that happens, 89,000 emails show up in my inbox.
Okay, well, it's happening. I'm telling the listeners because there are some good games I can already look at. Kaku, which I remember playing a demo of, is on there right now. Skater Gator, which looks really fun. Akatori, Bramble's on there. The Last Alchemist. I've actually tried some of these already.
Okay.
But and Stray Blade's on there. Yeah, there's a ton of like new games as well as ones that are coming very soon. So I would just highly recommend that to everybody. Mix Next on Steam.
All right, check that out. I'm sure there's lots of cool stuff to observe.
And now back to your regular scheduled programming of Debbie Downer.
2 more Debbie Downers to get through. Robotry. This is one that really reminded me. I like those really fucking balls hard physics games. I know you hate them, but
I don't know why, but yes, you do.
Like Struggling, which is one of my favorites from recent years. I love Struggling so much. I just did one recently, like 2 weeks ago, that was about a mountain climbing game where like your one stick was your left hand, one stick was your right hand. Any of these games that are like QWOP-like games where you're kind of like working with the physics to get the body to move. I don't know what it is. I just find them really interesting and fascinating. I find them really fun. And even when they're really difficult, as long as the physics are on point, I feel like I can do those. Like I like those kind of challenges. It's a really broken part of my brain. I don't know why I like these at all, but I do. So I saw one for this Robotry. It's a little robot face. It's a 2D physics game, just like those other ones. And it looked kind of cool in the trailer, like a little robot face with 2 arms sticking out of it. So it looked very much like Struggling, except for a robot instead of chunk of flesh. So I'm fine with that aesthetic change. You can also play multiplayer, which was just like most of these games as well, where one person can often do like kind of a couch mode where one person's got the left hand, one person got the right hand, etc., etc. That's a very common thing.
Why would you ever want to do that?
You wouldn't want to do that.
Okay.
If you're drunk and you want shits and giggles, you want to laugh, you
smoked
a bunch of weed or something.
I feel like that would like break up relationships.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah,
it absolutely would.
Yeah.
So don't do it with your significant other. Do it with a friend who you don't mind punching in the face, or you don't mind getting punched in the face, because it's a recipe for madness, right? So I played these by myself, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, Robotry. I like these. I'm going to check this out. Looks cute and colorful, and I had a really great time Struggling, and I really like the mountain climbing one, which I don't remember. But I like these. So I got the code, and I just about fell out of my chair, dude. I start the game up. So this is apparently dedicated for multiplayer. Like I thought it was just like any of these other games I just mentioned off, and there's a bunch of other ones too, where you can play it one player. There is one player mode. But the thing that they don't tell you is when you're playing one player mode, your robot only has one leg. And so I'm like, wait a minute. You have 2 sticks on your controller, and in every video it shows you having 2 legs. But if you play one player mode, you've only got one leg. And I'm like, that's crazy. Why do I not have a second leg? Because I was thinking I could do 1 stick for each limb, just like every other fucking game in this genre. Nope. You get 1 leg. And I'm like, this can't be right. I went back to the main menu. I went to the 2-player option thinking, oh, well, it's just me. I'll just use both sides of the controller for myself. Nope. You need to have a complete second controller to do this. And I'm like, well, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to play this by myself because I don't need to like have a fight with my kid or anything. Like, we're going to come to blows if we play this game together. No way.
Yeah.
So I go back into the game, and I'm stunned that you can only have 1 leg. It's so crazy because how do you move with just 1 leg, Carlos? It doesn't make any sense. You need at least 1 more. Yeah, so this is what happens. You go to these levels, you have your 1 leg, but the physics are all fucked up and it's all weird. And instead of grabbing with your leg, you can only push off with your leg. So you're constantly pointing the opposite way that you want to go and then trying to like push with the stick and then trying to like leap. which I guess kind of sort of works, but not nearly as good as dragging and grabbing, where you have more control. You can use the hand point as an anchor for the physics. In this one, you're just like leaping, and because you only have one leg, you're often falling over. It's hard to get good footing to get a good jump. Sometimes you just bounce off stuff in a weird way. The physics felt very floaty to me. They did not feel correct to me, in a way that made sense. And I play a lot of these games, dude. Like I play a lot of these, and I've finished a lot of them, so I know what I'm talking about. And this did not hit that zone of like correct physics for me to power through it. And I just could not get over that they're not giving you that second leg. I'm like, I don't even understand why. Like, why would you do that? And so I played like a bunch of levels. I'm like, okay, so surely I'm going to get a second leg soon, right? I mean, that's a thing. It's got to happen. Nope. I mean, maybe there is later, but the part that I played, I didn't get the second leg. It was just level after level of, oh yeah, just use your one leg to jump. And I'm like, this is fucking boring and fucking dumb. Why do I not have my second limb? Have you not seen any other game in this genre? I don't understand what you're doing. So I can only assume they want this to be intended as a 2-player experience, which, I mean, I guess is fine. But don't give me a 1-player mode that seems kind of broken and worthless. If you want this to be a 2-player mode, then just say straight up it's a 2-player game and just be done with it.
Right.
And I would have avoided it, and I wouldn't have to be talking about it on the show right now.
What's that one? No Way Home or something? One Way Home? Nope. The
No,
one where you're in
it's not.
prison and the guy.
Oh, yeah, the two prisoners.
Two prisoners, yeah.
Yes,
That's
yes,
like
yes.
2-player only, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Dedicated
so
2-player
that's what
only.
it sounds like this game is. It's like you
Yes.
have to have a second person.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to keep beating this drum, but like every other game in this genre lets you do 2 players, 1 per limb. But if you don't want to, you can just do it your damn self. Every game lets you do it your damn self, except for this one. It's so weird to like have every video have 2 legs and you've got 1 leg. So
All right.
that was a bad mistake. The last one I'm going to talk about here is Ghost Song. This one came to Game Pass. I believe it debuted on Game Pass. So there you go. There's a little indie game making its debut.
And I've also played it.
Oh, you played it. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
because it came to Game Pass, and I just installed it real quick.
There you go. So this is a 2D Metroidvania. It's got really cool motion, hand-drawn graphics. I don't exactly know what you call this type of animation. It kind of looks like paper doll animation, where like paper dolls have little like brass brads in their joints, and they kind of like hinge on them. It's kind of a cool look. I like the way it looks.
It's cool, and also, I mean, art style is awesome, but like when you like shoot and stuff like that, because it's a kind of a platformer shooter.
Yes.
It does have that like aim button, so then it does feel like what are those things with like little fasteners?
Exactly.
And
That's
it's
what
like
I'm
when
talking about.
you're aiming, it's almost like it's another piece of the cardboard thing or something.
Exactly. You can aim and move independently, so that's cool. I don't exactly know what the story is. Like, you start off as like some kind of a robot suit or something that like looks like it's been there for 1,000 years. You're waking up for some reason, and then you start walking through this world. And it's like typical Metroidvania style of design, where there's obviously some places where you're going to get a double jump later. There's some places where you don't have the tool that you need, so you got to come back later, and you kind of just walk around. This game is interesting, but I mean, full disclosure, I'm not the biggest fan of Metroidvanias. Like, I like them okay, but I'm not gonna like bust my ass to play one, because number one, there's like 1,000 of them, and number two, like they all kind of follow the same template. I've heard this has a pretty good story. I didn't get really far enough to really enjoy the story, but like this is another instance where you have to really carefully curate your beginning, because what happened to me was
The same thing that happened to me, I bet.
I bet you the same thing that happened to you. I start the game, I start walking forward, you get some tutorial messages about what you can do, I choose a way to go, and I went the way that the developers thought I wasn't going to go.
Left.
So I went down. Did you go left?
Oh, I went left. And you're not supposed to go left either, by the way.
Exactly. And so what happens is I missed half the tutorial messages because I went away the developers thought I wasn't going to go. And so you have to really plan for that. Don't let people branch out until you've done the tutorial. That's a real fucking rookie mistake. I didn't realize for a while that like when you punch... So you have a gun, you shoot the gun overheats, and when the gun overheats, you can use that for melee, and the damage of the gun goes up when the gun is hot. But like that's a real basic core aspect of this game, and they don't tell you if you take that down turn or the left turn or whatever. Like I missed out on that for like a while.
But by the way, they told me, and I still don't get it. They told me. They go, and I went to the right. I went to the left and right. We'll talk about it in a minute. But they did tell me what it did, and I go, I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a whole art to tutorials. We could do a whole podcast on like what makes a good tutorial. But like basically, I missed half the tutorial. I branched out into this open world, or this 2D Metroidvania open world. And I just was like wandering. I wasn't sure what to do. I found an upgrade that seemed like I like was not even remotely good. I kept dying, and I got stuck eventually in a place where I wanted to just get out of it. And there's no fast travel, or at least no fast travel at the point that I was at. Maybe you get one later. But the save points were really far apart, and I got stuck in a place where I just was feeling like it was a pain in the ass to get out of. And I'm like, I just don't want to work this hard in the first hour of the game. Like, I feel like this should be a better curated experience, and you should be introducing your systems to me. I just like whatever. I got like 95,000 other fucking games I can play. I don't need to like bust my ass right off the bat on this one.
Yeah.
So I noped out.
This is perfect explanation of what we were just talking about and how not to start a game. Because not only is it like, if you go the wrong way, it's bad, but and not open and opening for you to do whatever you want. But like if you go left, you just die. Because if you go left, there's like an enemy you can't beat. Which again, if this is an open world RPG and I see a monster in the distance, that's fine because I won't go near him, right? But this is not that. There's only 3 directions or something. So then you go to the right, you get the tutorial. I didn't understand the tutorial. I still died, like in a fucking second, because you go down to the little catacombs, and there's 2 enemies at the same time, and you can't handle 2 enemies because you only have like a shitty gun, and it's like tough. And the enemy is like, you got tons of health points or whatever.
Way too much health. Yeah.
Way too much health. For the beginning of the game, I spent 1.5 minutes and I got to the bottom, and then there's 2 guys I can't beat. And then there's also like things that hurt you, and I just felt underpowered, underwhelmed. I noped out so fast. It was easy because it's Game Pass for me.
Exactly.
Right? And but at the same time, man, oh man, the art looks really cool, but I'll never go back to that game.
Same. Yeah, it's really unfortunate because I did like the aesthetic. I like the concept of being this like suit that's woken up, and people the guy that reviewed it for our website, he's one of our newer writers. He was kind of middling on it, but he really liked the story. He said when the story kicked in, it was really cool, which was kind of why I checked it out, right? So unfortunately, I never got really to the story. I got just the very beginnings of it, but it never got going. It didn't hook me, and I just got really pissed off because I'm like, there's no save points around here. There's no place for me to refill my health. I'm tired of going through these sections again. I want to fast travel out of here and go somewhere else, and I just couldn't. And it was just like, just bad experience from the get-go. And so I was like, yeah, I'm done. There's like, I don't even have to like leave Game Pass. There's like 150 other games I can play instead of this. Yeah. So I'm gonna go do that. So.
And we just talked about how like if the story would have got us earlier, again, hooked us or something. But I didn't get any story.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, the last time I died, it like brought me back to the beginning, and I was like, I'll see you later.
Yeah, no thanks.
The literally the same animation is the robot waking up, and I'm like, that's what the game was. Like when I started, that's what the game was.
I mean, and that's really the trick, right? I think the thing that's kind of common to these games and a lot of other games is like, I think you and I both are willing to put up with some stuff. We're willing to like, slog through some tough sections. We're willing to like put in the time, but only after we're invested, like you said earlier. I think your choice of the word investment is a really smart one, because if you're giving me all these berries like way before I'm invested, all that does is just make me nope out. But if you do it slowly, you do it carefully, teach me the systems, let me attach myself to this character, let me attach myself to this struggle, let me attach myself to this story, then I'm more willing to like really like sweat for something and really like get invested in something and push through the hard parts or the challenging parts. But if all it is challenge and I'm like, why am I doing this? Then no, thank you. Yeah. All right. So that ends my murderer's row of games I did not care for. Everything else I'm going to be talking about for the rest of the show is great, and I'm very excited to talk about that. But before we do that, I'm going to take a rest. I'm going to turn it over to you, Carlos, for a game I am very, very, very excited and curious about, the Chant.
Well, here begins my Debbie Downers.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. I was so excited. Okay, I don't know what you're going to say, but I can already tell it's not going to be good. All right, go ahead.
Spoiler, but I will say before we get started, which will add another Debbie Downer layer coming from you, I love to do the thing where I watch something and then I play something that's similar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the multimedia thing. Yes.
So I watched, I've been still watching the Cabinet of Curiosities, which we both love.
Oh, yes.
So I just watched the viewing before I started the Chant, because the viewing has a kind of feel of like you're going to this cultish place and, going to do these weird things. So I was like, that'd be a good pairing. Now, I liked it because I like the director who did Mandy, which is one of my weird favorite films. that's twisted. And the ending is pretty harsh. I don't know if you saw the whole viewing.
Of Mandy?
Of viewing, the viewing.
Oh,
short.
yeah, I watched the whole thing. I hated
yeah.
it. It was the worst one of the whole series, I think.
All right. Well, we can agree to disagree. I actually didn't love it, but I also just loved the aesthetic of it.
Oh,
Anywho,
yeah, it was gorgeous. Gorgeous aesthetically.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And also had, what's his name in it? And it had Charlene Yee in it, and
that guy, Eric Andre.
Eric Andre was in it and stuff. Anywho, so I enjoyed that, but then I, went to the Chant after because I was like, okay, I'm going to get into that mindset. I'm in the mindset of this weird stuff. I don't know what it is. Maybe like a cult or something. And I've been, looking at this game a lot because I like the idea of it. It's a third-person adventure game with supposed choices that are, going to shape the game.
Yeah, you were psyched about this before we got the code for it, yeah.
Yes, very much so. And again, I'm always psyched to that idea of actually changing the game and the persistent world that you're in because of your choices. So far, you start the game and you're a girl who has this really traumatic thing that happened in her past, and she's trying to get past it through going to this resort with her friend who's also part of her traumatic past. Basically, they lost a friend, and she kind of blames her a little bit.
So the two friends lost a friend.
Two friends lost a friend,
grieving or whatever.
And they're both kind of at this resort.
Okay.
And this woman who you're meeting has already went through the cult procedure. She's wearing her cult outfit. I'm calling it a cult. It's just a resort, but come on, no shit. It's you're on an island somewhere. It's kind of weird. And then so then she's all in, and you're skeptical. And I want to play this game so bad as the super skeptical person. I know this is just going to end badly. I don't want to do anything, I want to leave. And so the very beginning, we're going to the little town. And again, it's third person, right? Adventure game. Very limited combat, very limited kind of dodge and controls. It's more about walking through the experience. But there is some combat. And then the very beginning, they're bringing me to the little village, and I'm like, I want to leave. So it would have been so cool if I could have just turned around, a la Far Cry, how they do those kind of alternate endings.
They gave you the bonus ending of I'm out, and
I'm
you just
leaving.
Turn around and leave in the first 5 seconds.
That would have been the perfect experience of this game for me.
It's funny when they do that. I like when they do
Well,
that.
because to think about it, everything is pointing to this is a cult. You don't want to go here. There's something wrong, right? So I turned around and tried to leave, and the door was locked. And I was like, I can't. I mean, the gate door, I couldn't get back to them.
Sure.
So I couldn't do my alternate ending. Anyways, then you get in, you talk to characters, and basically the game loop is talk to a bunch of characters, kind of remember Until Dark? It has that vibe to it, right? You're kind of learning about the world, trying to make decisions. It's a little bit collectathon where you're kind of getting your herbs and stuff, and the herbs are for side quests, but they're also for your health. This is the unique thing that I like about it, okay? It has 3 meters. I always forget what they're called, but some sort of soul amethyst meter, a mind meter, and then something else. Maybe you can look it up.
I love the something else meter.
There's a something else meter. But the mind meter is the most important because basically what happens is, and this is a love-hate relationship I have with this mechanic. If your mind meter goes down to 0, you get a panic attack. And I've recently been going through a lot of anxiety, so not the best thing, probably.
A little too close to home, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're invested in a game, big TV, lights are off, you can get kind of the feels, right?
Oh, sure.
But then it's kind of weird because it's video gamey, because you go into the dark and your character, their mind meter goes down because it's dark. And I was like, really though? I think we can deal with the just dark. Gotcha. So every time you're near anything that's dark, which is kind of often sometimes, you have to look at your mind meter, because if it goes to 0, you can have a panic attack, and then you're screwed.
What happens if you have a panic? Is it a game over?
No, it is a game over, but you're everything turns black and white. She's panicking. It doesn't feel good as a player, and you're trying to run to safety and get in the light. I just didn't like that mechanic at all. Secondly, you can refill those things, right? By meditating, which is a button, or you can pick up more herbs and you use the herbs and it calms you down, which, by the way, is what I do at home. Come on. I'm not.
Come on. It's the herbs.
It's the herbs. I don't just touch grass. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Hey-o.
So that was pretty good.
Jesus.
So there's a lot of those meters and you're picking up things, but the combat feels bad. The dodge feels bad. And I don't know if you get better. I guess there's definitely like a skill tree. But in the beginning, if you dodge too much, you fall down. I've never seen that.
So just like real life then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I know how bad I suck at dodging in real life. I don't want to do that in a video game. But
Dude,
no,
I just had an idea. I just had a brilliant idea. We should totally do a video series of Carlos Dodge Rodella actually doing dodge rolls. We should film what it actually looks like for you to do a real dodge roll in real life.
you know what I'm going to do? I'll break my ankle again. That's what happened. And that won't be any fun at all.
That would be amazing. We take all your favorite dodge rolls from all these different games, and you got to like reenact them.
I can't do one of them.
That would be so fun. That'd be such
I'm
a
an
great
old
video
broken
series.
man. That's not happening.
Anyway.
Anyways, so I didn't like the dodge. It feels awful. You attack with like sage because there's like plant, and this is minor spoiler, okay? But there's like plant monsters.
I was just going to ask, who are you fighting? The other cultists, or what's going on?
Right now, so far, this is why there's like a bunch of reasons why I'm out of this game already, because I want to be able to make more choices. Let's start there. So far, I made choices, and none feel like they've done anything, which is, we just talked about it again. Let's go back to investment. Let's call this episode something about like being invested. You can figure something out, but use the word investment, I think.
Okay.
Because seriously, that's what this whole show, the through line has been, because I only want that character that I'm playing to leave. Like, I know it's going to be bad, right? And I won't spoil anything, but obviously it's not great. Okay. And I just mentioned monsters, right? So it's not a great place to be. And then any choice I made in the beginning didn't change the fact that I had to like put on the outfit. I had to fucking do everything they told me to. And I had to go and be horrified. And I was like, oh, cool. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. So do I feel like I have any agency? No, I don't. Secondly, I don't like the combat. So if you're going to be doing that a lot more, then I don't like it. And then the story bits are all predictable. So like you find a film, and you put the film in, you watch the film. It's like, we're going to be nice to you, but we know we're going to fuck you over at some point. Like, it's cult stuff.
Right.
So nothing surprised me. It felt paint by numbers in the fact that it's a cult. And yes, it's supernatural too. So there's going to be monsters. So I just, from the beginning in the trailer and everything that showed me it made me feel like it's going to be an Intel Dark with lots of choices. And my choices are going to matter, and people might die because of the choices I make. And it still might be, okay? Let me give it credit, because I played 2 hours maybe a little longer.
Okay.
So, maybe it jumps up more. But again, it's about investment. I am not invested at all. I want to leave. And I feel like none of the choices I made any difference. And I just feel like I'm collecting things and being bad at combat.
So let me ask you a couple questions then.
Yeah.
So I don't remember seeing the trailer for this. I remember like just bits and pieces. So I don't know if it was positioned as kind of like an Until Dark, sort of a supermassive choice-based game. I mean, it seems like that's not what you're getting. So maybe there was a question of expectations. But of the choices you've done so far, like what kind of choices are you doing? Are you choosing like be nice to somebody or be mean, or are you doing like steal something or give somebody something, or like what have you encountered so far?
By the way, I'm bringing up the trailer in the background to look at to see what I might have missed. I mean, by the way, I've done a fucking Resident Evil puzzle, and I didn't want that either. I had to find pieces to put the pieces together to open a door, and it's like, I wasn't expecting that. And the choices I made are just the people I'm talking to, like what I'm going to tell them.
Just dialogue choices.
Yeah, it's like be truthful. I think there's only a few options. It's like be truthful. Is lie one of them? It's like, yeah, I remember I was always saying the truth. I was just picking truth for everything, right? That's who I am. So I was like, oh, that might be fun because I'm going to be truthfully honest that you guys suck, But they didn't even let me tell them that, It was more just like small things. And again, yes, probably further down the road, it's going to make a difference. And maybe someone dies because of my truth option.
Sure.
But if I'm already a couple hours in and I don't feel like any of those have any relevance, I just wish they would be immediately effective in a game like this.
Yeah, or at least some. I mean, I get what you mean about, not every choice can pay off immediately, but at least to give you a little bit, to give you the sense that you are doing something. Maybe some can pay off now, some can pay off later. You got to stretch it out,
Yeah, and I'm looking at one of these trailers, and it doesn't seem like, it's really focusing on the decisions. I feel like I saw another, like, maybe behind the scenes or something where they talked about it a lot, but I just think that in general, I just don't feel like I'm hooked. And
just not grabbing you.
I really wanted to, so.
All right. Well, it sounds like the chant is maybe not singing your tune there. Maybe you
I'm
think on
not.
it.
Oh, what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying I'm not doing the chant. I was playing off your singing the tune.
Yeah. All right. Well, that seems like a miss. I was excited before you started talking about it, just because I'm still in the post Halloween spooky zone right now. But
I
we'll see.
know.
We'll see.
And that's why I was like, I wanted to play it before Halloween, was over.
Yeah.
I guess the other last thing I'll say though, it's so frustrating because you're playing this whole game this way. Is you can't run, you only lightly jog. And
Okay.
in a game like this, it makes a fucking difference. Like they let you run when you're having a panic attack, right? Because you have to, because you're freaked out. Well, then let me run all the time because I'm running around to pick up fucking metal pieces to open a door puzzle. So I don't want to like lightly jog. And then when you walk in the dark, you can't even lightly jog. They make you walk slow. Walk slow because you're afraid.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are all the mechanics that aren't really. Yeah, if this is more like a full-on third-person, here's all my buttons that do things, explore the world, right? Like a Horizon Zero Dawn kind of feel.
Right.
Then I feel like I'd be more in because I have more of a chance. But I just feel like I keep getting limited by the controls. I think that's the biggest problem for me because I feel like I kind of falling over when I dodge, which feels fucking terrible. And I'm just dying. Like I've been dying by monsters recently because I can't play.
I gotta tell you, Carlos, you're really failing to sell me on this game. I think
I'm not trying to, by the way. Yeah, I've kind of All right. Bump it out.
Yeah. We're not another loser. All right. Let me talk about something good. I talked about all my bad games. I got something really good to talk about now. In fact, the next two are really good games, which I'm very excited to share. The first one is a game that came out of literally nowhere. I knew nothing about it. I got an email from PR offering us a code, and I took a look at the screenshot. I'm like, okay, that looks like it's kind of my jam. We'll give it a shot. Who knows, right? And it ends up being like this super awesome, really fun, clever game. It's called Sea Horizon. Again, I'm not sure who it's from or where it's from or what's going on. It just kind of disappeared. Just kind of showed up on my doorstep this one day. It's a turn-based roguelike adventure game, so it's already checking some of my boxes there. Graphics are pretty cool. They're very low poly intentionally, where your character just has kind of like 3 or 4 flat planes for his face, like low detail, but in a cool way. Like it's very stylized. I like the clean look to it. I think that's neat. What you do is so there's a couple different modes. I'm staying on the story mode right now, and the story mode has like several different characters. You start off as like the regular standard swashbuckler guy. He's like dude looking for adventure, trying to make his way, just in a pretty standard kind of thing. What you do is you're on a hex-based map. You move around. Each movement costs you food, so you're managing your food. And there's enemies that pop up on the map. You can decide whether to fight them or not. There are random events that pop up on the map. You can decide to check those out or not. You have money also to manage, and you want to get to the boss at the end of each level, and that completes that character's story. So you start off, you sail around in your ship. You're like, okay, I feel like I want to do a fight, whatever. Get into a fight, and it goes to a 2D turn-based system where there's also cards, so it's kind of like a deck builder as well. You'll have like a sword card, a shield card, a heal card, a dodge card, something like that. And there's also a dice mechanic. I know I'm throwing a lot of like mechanics up here, but trust me when I say that when you play this game, it all makes sense. It's all not nearly as complicated or as burdensome as I'm making it sound. I'm kind of getting lost in the weeds here, but basically, the game auto rolls dice for you, and it tells you how many you got, so you don't really have to worry about that. It's kind of automatically handled. And then based on those dice choices, you select from the card. So like, let's say you roll 3 swords and a skull. And then you got to look at your cards. Oh, well, I've got a sword card. I can spend one of my swords on this sword card. I got a skull card. I can spend this on like my poison spell or something. So you kind of just manage the resources you get each turn. And then the enemy will take their turn back and forth until, you either win or lose. And then you collect some gear and move on. And the whole loop of this game is you want to do a bunch of fights, as many fights as you can, while you don't lose too many resources to make it to the end. And the value of the fights is, number one, you go up in experience, get more life so you can survive longer, but also you're getting better gear. And each gear you get has dice attached to it. So let's say, for example, you're a combat-oriented class. You start off with a sword that has like 2 swords attached to it, right? Like on your dice. But you're like, okay, I'm not getting swords enough. I need more swords. You fight some dude, you get his sword. His sword has like 4 dice attached to it that has swords on it. So the next time you get into combat, you're noticing the swords come up more often. You can kind of self-select based on what kind of character you are, what cards you have. If you're a more combat-focused person, you want to pick gear that has swords attached to it. If you're a defense person, you can pick gear that has shields attached to it. And you can change these out as much as you want. They're all kind of random drops. So you get that kind of roguelike flavor of, you know what you're doing. You want to get to the boss every single time, but like the way you get there, how many battles you fight, what gear you find, what your cards are, is all kind of randomized. And I feel like it's got a really good, really fast-paced, bite-sized flavor to each adventure. You can finish an adventure. I haven't finished an adventure yet because it's actually more challenging than I'm making it sound. But, I think 15, 20 minutes, maybe less than that, depending on how many fights you do. So if you just want a quick run through of something, a quick like run through this dungeon, 15 minutes is a great chunk of play where you feel like you did something. And whether you win or lose at the end, your guy levels up a little bit. So like eventually you'll just get better and better, even if you lose, because you've just leveled up that many times. And they also give you these bonuses. You get to the end of the battle and the boss has kicked my ass like 5 times in a row. They're like, okay, well, you lost, but we're going to give you a sword or whatever gear you want. Pick from these 3 things, whichever thing you think you'd like. And then we're going to give you like a special attack. So pick whichever one of these things you like. And you start the game with that next time, which gives you a huge advantage. Because once you figure out the synergies, or once you figure out how best to use your character, you can pick the gear that fits your playstyle and then start off with that gear the next time. It's a huge advantage. Like I noticed once I figured out how these systems are working, by the time I got to like my 3rd playthrough, where I'm like, okay, I want more swords and I want more shields and I'm going to get rid of the leaf and I don't need the skull or whatever. I was getting way further and I was doing way better. And I was seeing the things come together once I got my system down. So I think it's a really, really cool, mechanically systems oriented kind of roguelike deck builder, which is very bite-sized. It's got really great graphics, like very clean, scaled down lo-fi graphics, which I think are very appealing. And I feel the systems are all very well thought out. My only complaint so far, number one is it's pretty tough. I feel like it's pretty tough. I have not even beaten the first level yet, and I've tried a bunch. So I've gotten close, but not quite there yet. So I feel like it's pretty challenging. That's one thing.
Wait, can I ask you a point to that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
When you say it's challenging for the first level, is there there's many adventures, which means like many different bosses? Is that like a campaign then altogether?
So the way this campaign works out is, from what I can tell from the main menu, there's like 8 different characters. Like the first guy is the pirate guy I just described. The second person's like a thief, and so she comes with like a whole different set of cards, whole different playstyle. The third guy's like a wizard, and he's got his own quest line. So like you can't get to the other ones until you finish the first one. So eventually you're going to do like 6 or 8 mini campaigns. Like you start with the pirate, finish his story, move on to the thief, finish her story, move on to the wizard, finish his story. I have not finished the pirate's story yet, and he's the very first story.
Got it.
So I have not tried the other characters yet, but I like how he plays, and I'm looking forward to experimenting with other cards, different character builds, and stuff like that. But it's pretty challenging. Gotten close, but have not finished it. And I think the tutorial could have been better. It took me 3 or 4 playthroughs to really figure out what I was doing, and I think a lot of that could have been shortened by just a slightly better tutorial. For example, how do you change your attacks? I kind of found that on accident. I mean, it's there. And maybe a more observant person would have figured it out faster than I did. But, you could have just given me a line of text and say, hey, if you want to change your text, do this. Would have taken you 5 seconds, and I could have learned it like two attempts earlier, so that would have changed my playthrough quite a bit. So I think the tutorial could be slightly better, but I still got there in a pretty short amount of time. And I feel like overall, this is like a really great game. I feel like it's very smart. I feel like it's making good choices. It knows what it wants to do. It knows what it wants to deliver, and it gets you there. And I feel like it's really bite-sized and approachable for people who like turn-based roguelikes. I feel like this is a really good one.
Check it out. 45 Studios, the developer. I'm checking it out on Steam. It's got mostly positive and very positive reviews. It looks great, like a cutout style, kind of in a way.
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of
pastel-y in a way.
Yeah.
Also, the hexagon. It's all hexy
hex-based maps when you're in the overworld and stuff. Yeah, it's really good. I feel like these people have a very good grasp of what they were trying to do. They did it well. They executed great, and I'm having a great time with it. Doing 1 or 2 runs a night. Hopefully, I'm going to get this pirate where he's going so I can start on this character. And it's just really good stuff. I feel like this one is absolutely on no one's radar, and it should be.
Check it out. That's why we say check it out.
Sea Horizon. Check it out.
Check it
All right,
out.
one more from me, and then we're going to finish big with you, sir. Another winner here is Darkwood. This is from a couple years ago. It's not brand new. Have you ever played Darkwood?
Yeah, I played it a while ago, and then I saw it show up in the PlayStation Halloween sale.
Yep.
I didn't pick it up. I picked up almost everything else. And so, yeah, I'm familiar with it. I'm interested to see what you have to say. I remember, the only thing I'll say is I think I remember it being difficult, but like on purpose. I want to say Soulsy. Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Everything you remember is on point there. So Darkwood is a horror game. I was looking into it when we were doing our Halloween show. This didn't make it to the show, but this is absolutely not your typical first-person dark hallway bullshit. You know, we were trying to avoid that for the show, and I think we did a great job. But this is one that could have easily qualified. It's top-down, totally top-down. Like you're looking at the top of your guy's head and seeing his shoulders, and that's all you can see of him. The game starts out with this really creepy intro where some kind of disease is happening and they blame you for it, and you're not really sure who you are or what happened, but clearly like the world is in real bad shape. The forest is kind of taking over everything, and you're just barely hanging on by your fingernails in this cabin in the middle of the woods. As the game starts, like again, it's top down. You're clicking on things, you're walking around, like you're discovering some notes. Turns out you're a doctor. You find like some wood, some nails. So there's definitely like a survival element to it, crafting element to it. And then you wander outside. You have a very rough map where you know like what region you're in, but not like you don't have a world perfect GPS. Like you don't know exactly where you're at, but you know like, okay, I'm in the meadow, I'm in the woods, I'm in this area. So you got a pretty good map. It's okay. It's fine. And you're just kind of like searching things out and just finding what resources you have and just figuring out what the hell is going on. The way that this game is creepy is, number one, it's all kind of like black and whitish, so that's really cool. Not exactly strict black and white, but it's very like washed out, very muted tones, kind of monochromatic, but I think it works. I think also the pace of it is very slow, very deliberate. There's a brand new HD version that just got released. If you already own the game, the PS4 version, it's a $2.99 upgrade, and I feel like it really looks great. I did a before and after. I looked at the PS4 version, and I'm like, okay, this looks fine. I mean, this looks great. And then I did the upgraded PS5 version. I'm like, oh, it actually does look better, like noticeably better. Neither one is bad. Like I think you're fine either way you go. But if you got the TV, if you got the $2.99, it definitely looks better. The colors are sharper, textures are sharper, and I think there's some dialogue differences. I don't know if it's randomized or what, but between my two plays, I did notice some dialogue differences. But you kind of wander these woods, you collect stuff that you can find, avoid monsters, come back to your hut, and you gotta just like you got to get to these different quests you got to do. These people show up. They want to do certain things, but you're also trying to survive. Nighttime comes, and these monsters kind of like raid your place, and so you're dodging them. There's also a really neat mechanic where you have a cone of vision, and in order to add fear, you can only see things that you're looking at. So like if your character's looking north, you can see anything that's in your north view, but south, east, and west are just like nothing there. You don't know what's there. It's just blank because you're not looking that way. And it's surprisingly effective because it means that people can sneak up on you. Monsters can sneak up on you. If you're in the woods, you've got to constantly, like literally be looking around, spinning that dude around. So you're like, covering all your bases, which really ramps up the tension quite a bit rather than just a traditional top down where you've got kind of like a God's eye view of everything going on. Like you can only see what your guy can see, despite the fact this is a 2D top down, which is really clever and very effective.
Yeah, I want to chime in here because I think it's clever, but it's also annoying because it's called the cone of vision. And we've seen that in other games. And I forgot which game I played recently where it was like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you should be able to see behind you in the other game where it's not a horror game, right? And so I've had this go wrong essentially because again, like you said, if things are attacking you and you don't have the information, then you're just going to get attacked. It feels like it fit better in this game, but I think I still didn't like it because you definitely get attacked from the sides, right?
Oh yeah, you do. Like, and it's definitely a vibe, right? Like if you're down for horror and the spookiness, I mean, that's really a great way for them to ramp it up. If this was just like a regular 3D action game, I probably wouldn't like it because I would want that God's eye view because that's kind of how that genre goes. But I think it does work with the with the concession that you're in for a horror game.
Yeah.
Story is real murky and scary. Characters are real murky and scary, like intentionally in a good way. I feel like also the animation is like pretty amazing in this game. I love the animation. Just moving around, at first you're like, okay, it looks like a top-down game, but then as soon as you start to do things, you notice how much time and attention they took in making this animation work. For example, you pick up an axe pretty early on in the game, and that's your starting weapon in the tutorial. And watching him pick it up, and then like when you ready it, like you pull it out of your coat, and he's like moving it, and he's like holding up above his head, and then you got to attack, and he swings it down, and you can see his like muscles and his arms moving. Like it just looks so fucking cool. It's slow. Lots more frames in there than some other game would put in, where you're just kind of probably mashing the X button and you're like whack whack whack. This is like, it looks like you're really swinging that axe, and it gives the whole game a different feel. Like you're being more intentional, you're being more cautious, you're being, you're kind of just like maybe inhabiting it in your head a little bit more, because you got to think, oh, I need time to swing the axe, I need time to get the axe out of my hand or something, or out of my coat or whatever. Like when you come across a fence or a window, you like vault over that instead of just being a quick hop like most games would do. Like, he grabs the ledge, puts a leg up, pushes himself up, gets the other leg up. Like, it's a small thing, but I think it really adds to the ambiance, like, greatly. Like, really, it all works together with everything else going on in this game to make you feel dark and oppressive and real and lived in. I think it's really great aesthetically. I love it. It is very difficult, and there are a lot of survival things you'll have to do, like searching for food, searching for water, searching for resources. That's a big part of this game. And just, you have to really be in the mindset of like exploring this dangerous world very, very carefully, slowly, and cautiously. But I feel like in terms of horror games, this is definitely bringing something new to the table. It's not relying on the same old jump scares. It's not relying on the same old dark hallways in first person. And I love the vibe. Like, I think the vibe of this thing is just fucking on point. If you're in the mood for something scary and survivally, and just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, I think this game is tops, dude. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. Art aesthetic and stuff is just awesome. And I remember liking it. I'm watching the trailer now. But I noped out a little bit with the survival stuff, because that can get me,
Yeah.
If you're just dying because of, mismanagement of stuff or whatever.
Exactly,
you can't find things.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then the other thing I don't like, and it's just the only con I'll add to it, is that the cone of vision, now that I'm watching the trailer, I remember, it's, you can see around you, but they don't let you see. Meaning, like, you're shining a light, but like the stuff to your left and right and the south of you, you can see. You know what I mean? You can see the actual ground.
Yeah, you see like shapes and stuff. Like if you're in a forest, you'll see like there's like trees around you, but you won't get any detail. You won't see any monsters.
Well, you don't see the monsters. I think that's the thing bothering, because I was like, well, yeah, because it's top down, I can see like in this section of the house that I'm in a hallway or whatever.
Yeah.
I can literally see the outline of the hall and the desk and everything, but I can't see the monster that's in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, I know that why they did it, but for some reason I was like, I'd just rather see it so I could find it. But yeah,
it's a choice. It's a choice for sure.
It's a vibe. This game's a vibe.
It's definitely a vibe and a mood and a tone. And I think that if you are in the mood for creepy or spooky, you want something a little bit different, you want something else now that Halloween's over, you're still in that zone, I think this is a very good one. I think it's, I don't know a lot of people have played it, and I think it's doing a lot of really, really cool things. It definitely feels like kind of a struggle for survival. So if you want that kind of zone, this is thumbs up for sure.
That's what this is. Yeah, totally. Oppressive in a way like that.
Yeah. Yes. Intentionally oppressive. Absolutely. Good word. So that's Darkwood, playing it on PS5. And I do think the upgrade is worth it for sure, if you got the $3 to spare. One more game, and then we're going to wrap the show here. Carlos, we have been on this track for a while. You've been super excited for Star Ocean. You got the game, you got in early, you've been playing it. I know it was your jam. I know you were totally in the zone for this. I am very excited to hear your take on Star Ocean, especially now that you finished it. So tell us from A to Z, what is Star Ocean all about? And what is the subtitle? Star Ocean?
The Divine Force.
The Divine Force. Take it away, sir.
Which, by the way, first off, asterisks, I'm going to apologize for asking about this game in DMs to you for like, I don't know, a month straight. Because I kept going like, are we going to get a code? Like, seriously, hook me up on this. But I paid my own top dollar for this game.
You did.
I knew that, I don't want to like have to wait on that and rely on that. And I needed to play this game. Again, another asterisk is, we've talked about this before, but when times are tough, you're going through a lot of difficult things like I am right now. An RPG is something for me that's just total pure escapism. So I just wanted it as soon as it came out. So I bought the digital fancy version and was able to play it early and got it, as soon as it came out, 9 p.m. or whatever. And so spoiler. I love this game. It did what I thought it would do, which is super fun, open world, third person action RPG, JRPG. It's comfort food. It's like, I think a lot of articles are coming out right now that says like it's the perfect JRPG comfort food. I'll talk a little bit about the systems and some pros and cons. There are a couple cons, but I would think in general, yeah, it's kind of what I wanted. It's kind of what I told you it would be. Kind of what I've been alluding to, which is super crazy, huge, pretty long RPG that has fun combat and an interesting story, but nothing like it kind of drops off. Like I said earlier in the podcast, the final act or the third act or whatever, yeah, there's a little bit of an issue there. So in general, what is this game? This is the first, I believe, game where you can pick between two different protagonists.
Okay.
I might be wrong. I don't do homework.
In this series.
In this series, it might be, though. So in the beginning, you can pick Raymond, who's the captain of a ship. And the whole idea of Star Ocean, by the way, is an RPG where sci-fi meets traditional kind of monsters and, fantasy RPG. That's like what their whole thing is. And by the way, this takes place in the timeline of the Star Ocean universe right after a game where you actually play as the people on the ground and there's space people coming to meet them. And you're basically like the people that live there already on the planet, okay? And
so wait a minute. Wait, you're losing me.
Okay,
I don't know very much about the Star Ocean thing. Like, take it back a couple steps here.
Well, there's a lot to. I'm not going to go through the whole Star Ocean series, but
no,
in the
but
timeline,
just overview,
right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: in the timeline of the games, like canon or whatever, one of the games, I can't remember which one it is. Faithless and Integrity, I think, is what it is. In that game, you start as characters. Your hero is like from a planet, and spaceships land, right? And they cause all the problems. And you're like, fuck. But you start as your main character as the person who lived there on the planet, okay? In this game, which is, takes place after that game, you can either be Raymond, who's in the spaceship, right, above this planet, or you can be the princess who is from that planet. Does that make sense?
Okay. So, yes. So let me, as someone who is not super familiar with the Star Ocean games, let me just ask you this then. I know that they're JRPGs, so I know that much. And I've seen screenshots and so forth and so on. I don't know that I've even ever played one, honestly. So I'm guessing this is a futuristic slanting sci-fi theme, or is it more of like traditional stuff? Like, how does it play out in the terms of JRPG? Are we talking sci-fi theme all the way through, or is it like you're a sci-fi person on a fantasy planet, or like what is kind of the vibe we're going here? Medieval stuff? Or
yeah,
like
that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm doing it poorly. So it just always mixes the two. Like that's what those games do, right? The idea is like there's a planet, and it's kind of more traditional, and there's fantasy, and there's monsters, right? And there's like lots of times princesses and kings, and then there's spaceship people, and they're like, oh, those simpletons, they don't get it, right?
All right.
And the two meet, right? And in the game right before this, again, on the timeline, you played as the characters who were just on this fantasy planet, and they, again, met spaceship people, right? And that was where all the trouble happened, because they came down, and there was a girl, and it's a whole thing. So in this one, you can literally pick between the two, right? But the whole idea of the story and this whole series is that they always mix. But this game basically takes all the Star Ocean ideas of space meets regular people on a planet who don't know about space stuff and technology, and does everything you could think of with that combination. And I'll get to it. Meaning like, if we were here right now and we got visited by aliens, what would that look like? What would we not understand, right? Like all the different technology and stuff. And they really go into that kind of juxtaposition. So that's why I said it's such a big deal, like who you pick as the character. Because you're either picking the Princess Letitia, who is from the planet, or you're picking Raymond, who has an 80s haircut, by the way, and it's out of control. It's like this huge poofy blonde mess, and it looks stupid. Sorry, Raymond. And he's like on the ship, and he gets shot down, and so he lands on the planet. So that's how the game starts. So when you start the game, you meet this princess right away, or you are that princess.
Got it.
That's a long intro.
I know.
Let me get to the game.
Wait. One more question. Is it important to have played any game before this one, or can we just
you don't
jump
need
into
to.
this one?
Yep, you don't need to. But the only reason I bring that up, and I think that people who have played these games before would appreciate my long intro, is because I think that's a nice touch, because the game right before this in that series, or at least on the timeline, was about spaceship people coming down, which, by the way, spaceship people is pretty funny. I keep saying, sci-fi, future people. And in this one, you could be, the woman or the person from space. I picked Raymond from space. Let's get to the game. So another huge thing about this game is early on, you find this technology in your spacecraft as Raymond. I'm going to talk about this whole game as Raymond,
Okay.
the space traveling guy. You find this little technology robot thing that floats, kind of a orb thing, and its name is Duma. It's very important for the whole story. You'll learn later.
Okay.
And so Duma allows you to do really, really fun combat. Now, if any of you played the demo, you'll remember that combat. It's super fun. And the reason why I was so excited about this game, you're going to be in a huge open world RPG. You want the combat to be good. The report is it's very, very fucking good. And what makes it great is Duma. So by holding down a trigger button, you can float with Duma and then let go of it and it'll attack. So basically like pinpoint attacks with flight. And it's hard to explain. I'm not going to try. It's just something you have to experience. But it feels fucking great. Now, you didn't play the demo, did you?
No, by the time I heard about it, it had already been over because it was a limited time. I didn't get a chance to jump in.
Yeah, it's just super fun to do that kind of thing. Now, the only mini-con in combat is that you have action points. They run out a lot. And so when you have no action points, it's one of those games where you can't do anything. I don't know how many games
you need to wait for him to come back, or
yeah,
how to get more?
100%. Or you do things like one of my favorite things in the world to do is you right trigger with Duma, turn it on, you're floating. You go to attack an enemy. I'm going to try to explain this because this is really fucking fun. And instead of attacking right away, you push a direction on your controller, and he'll move to the left or right. And if you're in the blind side of the enemy, you blindside the enemy, which means you stun them. And what that does is it actually gives you extra action points. So it's kind of a puzzle game where if you do all these moves the right way and kind of stun a bunch of people, you can start having a ton of action points.
And this is real time, right? This is not turn-based.
All real time.
Okay.
But by doing that, now you're not worried about like losing, your action points go to 0, but now you have like 20 instead of like 4 like you started with. So you have more to use basically, right? Then you're not running out as much. And that's a huge part of this game, but they do not tell you about very well. Going back to the tutorial, they don't really do a good job of that. But when you learn it, it's really, really fun. And then I'll also say, you can control all the other people. I never do. It's like if you hit a button, now you're your other party member, right? I just don't do that in these games. I just stay as one person. Unless, of course, I get killed and I have to switch. And then there's also stop mode. So you can just stop the game and do things like use items, right? Use a bomb, use special upgrades or whatever. So you're going to always
Can you do that anytime, or do you have to select it as a separate mode?
Anytime.
Okay.
So that's always there, but I'm not calling this a turn-based game at all because you do need to use that all the time in a big, especially bosses. But in the most time you're out in the field playing this game, you're just like doing action combat.
Gotcha.
But you can always stop it anytime you want and do health potions. So, okay, I know this is a long review, but I will say that's still fucking fun. Like really, really fun. No matter who you pick, because I tried all the different characters. It's super fun. But Duma just has a really, really like a very unique feel that I've never had in a game.
Is Duma like only with your main guy, or does everybody have a Duma?
No, it's only your main guy, but I don't, because I didn't play as Letitia. I'm guessing Letitia has Duma.
Or something similar, maybe?
Yeah, and that's so weird because I didn't do that. And there are alternate endings, by the way, because I picked Raymond and I didn't pick Letitia. So there's slightly different endings. Really quickly jumping to the other thing. What's amazing about this game, without going to the whole storyline of it, is because I guess they were making this, as people make games through a pandemic, a virus shows up in this game.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a straight up like COVID-style virus. And I got to think that that's from what happened in real world.
Must have been.
Yeah. And so I hated it at the beginning. But it also was like, this is part of what our life was, So it's very interesting. And you literally wear a mask for a while.
Nice.
And I was like nervous because I was like, we should get out of this hospital right now because there's a lot of infected people here.
Stay 6 feet away, Duma.
There's a huge... Oh, Duma didn't worry about it because it's a robot. But there's a huge section of this game where you're wearing a mask, and they did the voiceover with mask.
Oh, that's awesome.
It sounds like. Yeah.
That's so funny, yes.
Also, political stuff shows up in this game. Also, power corrupting shows up in this game. They kind of like go through a bunch of real world shit. And then on top of that, I won't go into it, but just giving you a little bit of what I alluded to. Duma is AI, robot. It's part of a collective of AI, and they actually talk about things like the singularity in this game.
Interesting.
And they go really far into it. Like, it goes into things where, like, you see YouTube videos about this stuff, right? Like, what would happen if we merged with AI? They get into all that stuff. So, yeah, it's just a much bigger than the sum of all its parts that you're like, what is this game? There's so much they're, like, doing. And at the same time, it's just a fun-ass JRPG, right? So, okay, that's the whole game in a nutshell. Here's some cons. Because I love this game, right? And I love it, and I completed it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very positive so far.
It's very positive. And by the way, because I'm fucking crazy and I needed RPGs like, in an IV, just feed it to me. I've beat this game in 8 days.
Wow.
I don't know
how
if
many
this
hours?
is-
Do you know how many hours?
Yeah, I do, because it looked at it, I think 32.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable for an RPG.
Which
I
is
thought you-
reasonable, yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say like 60 or 80 or something like that.
No, I played it a lot. I played it obviously nonstop. But I think, other people will probably take their time with a game like this, but I was just so compelled. Yeah, I just loved it. So I beat it in 8 days. So here's the cons. One, I don't even want to call the third act. I would say when you think it's the third act, you think it's almost the end of the game. It's like, oh, no, bitch. We just getting started.
Oh, no. Okay.
And that felt bad. Like,
Really?
it felt bad. Yeah, because you go, it's going to wrap up now. We get it. We know what's happening. And they go, no, we're going to do this. We're going to do this without spoiling anything. And you're going to go to this whole new area and new map. And you're
wow.
like, oh, I don't want to do more map. So
you felt like you were just about done, and then it's like, nope, halfway?
Yeah, and not halfway, maybe 3/4 way.
Okay.
But where
still
I
a
was
pretty
thinking,
significant chunk.
Yeah, it's like a whole other quarter. I would say like 6 more hours or something.
Jesus, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, I didn't want 6 more hours. So every time I thought it was over, I was just here by myself, but I kept laughing to myself. I'm like, and now we're done? And then I was like, I guess I'm saving it and going to bed. And saving it and going to bed.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so that is a con. I feel like they fucked up the momentum because this game had such a fun, relaxing momentum, and you're learning more and you're learning more. And about 3/4 of the way through the game, you're like, it should be done now. So I would have loved this game at 25 hours, really.
Yeah, more is not always better.
Not really. I know why they did part of it because, again, they really go into AI and stuff, and it's really interesting. But, yeah. So then the last part of that con is that near the ending, no spoiler, but minor spoiler, they do a bad job of telling you what to do. Well, here's the minor spoiler, is that you have to just randomly beat bosses, and they don't tell you, which is fucked. And that you just have to go in new areas, new dungeon areas, and get to the end of it. And it's one of these fucking terrible mazes and stuff. And then those bosses are fucking hard, like insane bullet sponge bosses.
So you have to go beat other bosses randomly before you can beat the real last boss?
Yep. And before they even show you the story to get to the last boss. And that felt bad. That felt
How would
really
you
bad.
even know to do that?
You just trial and error. You go like, I guess to go down this area.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're in like an area with like all these doors, and you go in the doors. And so every time you go in a door, it's a dungeon, and you get to the end of it. And and they don't mark where you've been either. So you're like, it just felt like a fail, like a real bad fail. So that's the only main fail, because I was like, this is just confusing as fuck. Beat all those bosses, and by the way, played the whole game on normal until those bosses. Put it down to easy. It was still difficult.
Really? Okay.
Still difficult on easy. And I was like, holy shit, what would have like hard been? That'd been like sadistic. So, and last boss, which of course I won't tell you, put it on easy again. Because I was like, no, fuck you. I'm done with this game. Like, this game is over, And on easy, it was still hard. So I just think they fucked the ending, because super fun the whole way through. I never wanted it to end. And then I just wanted it to end. Like I was like, you fucked it up. You made me be confused. You put all these bullet spongy bosses that don't make sense. And also bullet spongy bosses didn't fit the storyline either. It's like, we should be done. So that was my main con. The other con, you meet a lot of as a straight guy, there's a lot of attractive ladies in this game to me. Okay, and I like romancing ladies.
I'm very curious where this is going. Go ahead.
I put that just to put a caveat. I'm like, I don't know who you are listening, but for me, I found a lot of the women attractive. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And you're in a game for this long. It'd be fun to romance somebody. Look at Dragon Ages of the world, etc.
Sure.
And so even though I found a lot of these ladies compelling to hang out with, maybe do some side missions, no romance at all.
Oh, none at all, huh?
Not even an inkling. Like no one even flirts. It's
well,
really
space
weird.
People, I guess you don't do that when you're in space, I suppose.
No, it felt out of place. It really did. Because I'll get to what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of cleavage. All right, and I'm not saying cleavage equals romance, not whatsoever.
That is a pretty good title for the show right there.
Wait, cleavage equals romance?
Yes.
Okay, maybe that's pretty good. But what I'm saying is that in the JRPG settings, we played a lot of these games, right? There's like attractive men or women, even in these romancing options. The guy's got his shirt off, he's all muscle rippling or whatever you want to be. Like it's just there's not even flirting, and I was like, this seems weird. So
it seems like with a game that big and with all that stuff to do and all that content, all the different issues that it brings up, you would maybe have optional. I mean, maybe at the very least optional side quest romance or something.
Right, and there's these things called private actions, which is basically the side quest with like different characters, and all those you bond together. It's nice with friendship and stuff, but that's it. Like again, this is such a small caveat, not a big deal, but it seemed weird being like almost 35 hours and no one's like flirting with each other.
Missed opportunity.
And lastly, because this has gone long, I will say there's no post game in the fact that this game is such a massive world and there was so much I didn't do still because I was just like excited for it to be over at that point. I wanted to go back into the planet and like fuck around, but it's that bullshit thing where you have to do old save.
Oh, okay. So there's no post game. It's just like you just reload right before you beat the last boss, then go back into it.
Yeah, which by the way, there is other stuff to do. Like I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. They're like, "Oh, secret dungeon you don't know about," but I'm not doing it, dude. You know me.
Yeah,
it's not canon. Yeah, no, it's not canon. So overall, I really, really liked it. I think I liked it a little less because of the ending, although I liked the story a lot, and I think they did a lot of things that no RPG is doing, which is, talk about real world shit. Talk about AI, talk about computer, talk about what it means to have a soul, and like that whole what's it called, agency, or what am I thinking of when it comes to AI?
Autonomy, maybe.
Autonomy and stuff like that. So really, really dig it. Enjoyed my time. A little let down in the ending.
Well, overall, you finished the game. Sounds like you're probably not going to go back and play it again because you got your canon ending and you're done. So, I mean, is this probably a good time to give it, say, an official score, perhaps?
I think so. And we talked about it before the show. I'm just thinking about, as I talked about that ending, how it frustrated me so much. I'm going to use this. Okay, I will do a score. Let me talk it out. Tales of Arise, I liked better. And why is because... one, I just felt like I think I like the combat better, weirdly enough, in Tales of Arise. Even though I love Duma. Okay. Yeah, I love Duma and I love that mechanic. It's super fun. But I think I did enjoy Tales of Arise better. And then also Tales of Arise ending, I loved. It came at the right time, and it was a very long ending, with a lot of character development. I just loved it. And this one I didn't. Like when I finally did get to the ending after all that like really extended ending, it was short.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's a bummer. RPGs, they almost by definition need to have a pretty extended ending. You really want to see what happened to everybody.
Yeah.
What happened to all the different options. You really want to get an exhaustive kind of wrap up. That's pretty normal to expect.
Well, and what you do is you get that throughout the ending. You know what I mean? Like you're getting a ton of story. Like this isn't light on story. This thing has a lot of fucking cutscenes. It's just that it's part of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, fuck, do we know? I didn't give a score for Tales of Arise, but
we weren't doing scores at that time, I don't think so.
I think I'm gonna give it Son of a bitch. I can't believe I'm going to do this.
Carlos gives it son of a bitch.
No, I'm just saying son of a bitch because I feel like it's going to be lower than I thought I was going to give it because I loved it so much. I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8? I mean, it sounds to me like you were shooting 7. You think 8?
No, it's 8.
Okay,
I feel
solid
bad
8.
giving an 8 because like there's things in here that I like that are 9. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like
for
I
sure.
like Duma, and that I've never experienced that kind of game play ever, and I really like it. And I like a lot of the story, what they're doing, and the fact they did the virus and they handled it well. I think responsible and stuff like that. I love the AI stuff. It's got to be 8 because that ending fucked me, man. It's a 6-hour ending of bosses.
Yeah, I hate when they do that little stumble right at the very end. But I mean, 8 out of 10, that's a very respectable number. That's nothing to be embarrassed about. So that sounds
No.
to me like it's an overall win. Would you agree?
It's an overall win, and I'll say this as my last statement. If you're looking for a good JRPG comfort food, it's definitely that.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people play games and don't finish them, right? So like if you want to just jump in and like level up and have a bunch of cool story, you could do that and play like 20 hours of it, you know?
There you go. As people have said many times, most people do not finish most games. So
Right.
if all you want is a good 10 hours, it sounds like it delivers that good 10 hours. You can bounce and do something else. So.
It's a delicious JRPG comfort food.
All right,
Ooh, that's for the review.
There we go. Delicious JRPG comfort food. It is video game macaroni and cheese. There
It
we go.
really is.
All right, that is Star Ocean. What's it called?
Divine Force.
The Divine Force. Sorry, I cannot keep that in my head. All right, that is it for the main content of the show. Really quickly, I want to give a couple shout outs for people who retweeted the show last week. Thanks again to Mike Burnett. Love that guy. Love what he's doing. He's currently working on Nadir, which we talked about in the show earlier. And also thanks to Adderblack39, longtime hero, constant hero. Adderblack is constantly retweeting the show. Love that guy. He is tireless. So thank you very much, Adderblack. And then one or two more things before we go, just non-game related. Carlos, I got a couple things. What do you got anything you want to talk about before we go?
Just a couple of things. One, Pentiment, which I've been really excited about. It said it was available on Xbox, and I got mad at them because it's a Game Pass game. So I downloaded it, which I guess apparently I was able to do, but it's not coming out till November 15th.
Pentiment. What is Pentiment? Remind me.
So it's that kind of, it looks like the game that you like a lot, that medieval game with the kind of cutout graphics.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. The point and click, the 2D point and click.
Yeah, and it's kind of like all your choices matter, but kind of in a real way, unlike some games I know. And yeah, it's supposed to like make really weird choices and a world that's kind of exists based on your choices, and it's really cool art style.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm excited for that. I downloaded it, but again, I can't play it till the 15th. Then the other thing I was going to say is I did watch Barbarian, and we both watched it, right?
Yes, we need to do the circle back on Barbarian. I did. We talked about it last episode. Let's save that for the very last thing so we can do a spoiler section.
Yep.
But yes, I did talk about that. We can talk about that. Anything else besides Barbarian?
No, just I wrote down fuck Twitter for some reason. But other than that, yeah.
Probably for many reasons.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Barbarian in 1 second. We'll do a spoiler warning for that. But before we get to that, have you seen Ted Lasso? Have you seen that already?
Of course. Every single episode, yes.
I have never seen Ted Lasso until this week. I knew people liked it. I knew people were saying good things. But, I don't give a shit about soccer. And I was not in, it seemed like everybody's like, oh, it's such a feel good show. And I'm like, whatever, blah, barf. I don't usually go in for the feel good shows or whatever. But for whatever reason, we ended up watching it this week. I think the wife wanted to watch it. And dude, I love that show. I feel like such an asshole because it's such a good show.
Yep.
I guess just nobody really, it's hard to encapsulate what makes that show so brilliant. But, for people who don't know, I guess probably everybody knows. I think I was probably the last person who had seen it. But in case you haven't seen Ted Lasso, it's on Apple Plus. Stars Jason Sudeikis as a football coach who gets relocated to England to coach a soccer team or football team, English football team. And he's kind of like a fish out of water, but basically he's just a really positive, uplifting guy. And he brings that to like all aspect of his troubles. Like he doesn't know about soccer rules. He doesn't know about English culture. He doesn't know about, the politics that are happening in the clubhouse. And he just is like throughout it all, this very positive, tries to see the best in everybody, tries to give the benefit of the doubt to everybody. And it sounds dumb. Like when I heard it, I'm like, that sounds dumb. But like when you watch the show, the thing that makes it work is that the Ted is not stupid. He is a smart guy, and he's not just like one of these stumble bums who just like doesn't know shit about anything but always keeps a smile on his face. No, he actually is a very good coach. He's a very thoughtful person, and he is intentionally good. Not that he's just like some kind of like weird supernatural force for positivity. He intentionally tries to be a good guy, and it helps that he is not stupid. Like he knows what he's doing. He's very cagey, but also decides to be positive. And you don't see that combination very often. I feel like most of the time when you get somebody who's as positive as Ted, they're usually like a dummy, like a happy dummy, or somebody who's really just kind of like, bumbling. But he's not at all. And I think that really helps the show very much. He also has human moments. He's mad for a couple times. He's mean to people a couple times. So it humanizes him a little bit. But the very fact of like this guy who can just turn the other cheek at most things is kind of notable. And I think it's really interesting that we're seeing this now, because God damn it, it's exactly what I needed this week. I really needed to see something that was positive and good, and Ted Lasso delivers that. And despite the fact I don't give a fuck about soccer, I was like completely invested in the team. I was completely invested in Ted and his life. I was completely invested in just like everything about the show. I mean, my family and I, we binged like the entire season 1 like in 2 days. We just watched like, didn't want to watch nothing else. We just watched Ted Lasso the entire time. So
yeah.
Great show. I mean, Carlos, you must love it, right?
I love it. I'll just add the fact that, like, in this darkened world, we can do two things. We can focus on the dark, or we can focus on the light. And this show is the light. I mean, that's really what it is. And it is hard to explain it because you just have to watch it.
Yeah.
What it does is it's not just him. It's like there's light in almost all the characters.
A bunch of people. Yeah, a bunch of people.
And there's a woman who's like stern, and you think you're not going to like her. Then all of a sudden, she lets down her guard, and you're like, oh, fucking everybody can be nice. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it just keeps doing that. I finished the entire series already. All of the seasons. I don't know what it is. 3, I think.
Two seasons right now. 3 is coming. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I finished all 2. It just keeps tugging your heartstrings, but then fills you back up. It doesn't just knock you down like so much fucking bullshit in this world does, entertainment-wise. It's there to fill you up.
And it doesn't feel cheesy to me. It doesn't feel like a Hallmark movie. You know what I mean?
No, it's not trying. Again, that's what I'm saying is what's special about that show, and it's about the showrunners and the writers as well. Like, obviously, the performances are great, but they knew what they were going into. They were saying, this is really what it is. We want to fight the good fight against good and evil on this planet. Like, that's what that show's doing, in my opinion, because it's saying you could go this route, but that's what everybody's doing. Like, it's difficult to go the good route sometimes, and when you do, here's what happens. You get friendship out of it, you get, happiness out of it, and it just kept filling me up. Like, and major spoiler for you because you haven't seen it, there's a pretty tough thing that happens in season 2. But because they wanted to show that tough shit still happens, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a fucking fairy tale. So exactly. I think it's important that in season 2 they add something that's tough, and they still show you that you can fill it up. You fill up your glass. So
no, that's a good point.
It's an important show.
Yeah, it's a good point. I feel like I agree with you. I haven't seen season 2 yet. We're going to start it today. There are some tough moments in season 1, and they show how you, just like you said, you can get through them. You don't have to be negative. You don't have to turn it all sour and bitter. But bad things do happen to these people, and they just get through it somehow. And it gives you, I don't know, like a template or something that you can probably try to apply to your own life. And I think a lot of the lessons that we've seen in season 1, I think would be very well spent on people. I mean, people who I know. I can already think of like 3 or 4 people in my life who I'm like, dude, you need to watch a show and you need to follow what these people are doing because it would make you a better person. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think this is very notable for that, and I wish I had seen it sooner, but I'm glad I'm watching it now. And if you're like me and you thought the show sounded like dumb and bubblegum and just goofy, whatever, not your bag, I would say don't be me and just watch it sooner and give it a shot because it really surprised me, and I think I kind of love it now.
And the actors and the cast, they're
all
amazing.
They're all amazing. You're
like, oh my goodness, now I'm in love with her. Now I'm in love with him. Oh my goodness.
Everybody. So, okay, that's all I had. But now we're going to do a really, really, really quick spoiler section on Barbarian. So there's nothing else left of the show. It's just the closing. If you don't want to be spoiled on Barbarian, and you probably shouldn't be, just bounce. You're not going to miss nothing.
See you later. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Podcast
Thanks for
over.
listening. But if you do want to hear about Barbarian, or you've already seen it, we're going to do no holds barred, completely spoiler So do not listen to this if you don't want to be spoiled. And starting in 3, 2, 1.
Barbarian.
Barbarian. Okay, so really quickly, Carlos, you watched it. I watched it. Number one, was it even remotely what you thought it was going to be?
Well, I like the fact that both of us didn't know much, and that's the whole idea. Is everybody told you don't watch anything about this because it's a surprise-a-thon, right? Well, I think we mentioned Cabin in the Woods, which I still stand by.
Yes.
It's a great
Yes.
movie. It's one of those things too. Don't watch anything about Cabin in the Woods.
No, just
not
watch
even
it.
a trailer. And that's what this was. You're like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, and it's fun. So yeah. So what was your question?
Was it? So one of the things that I was giving you pause before the movie, and I know this was true for you too. We saw the poster. The poster's kind of creepy looking. We saw this movie making the rounds. All the horror people were like, "Oh, this is the new hot it horror movie," and we were like, "Okay, we're not going to read anything because you said not to." But is this a hostile situation? Is this like Saw? Is it gross? Am I going to watch this and it's going to be torture porn for 2 hours, or like what's going on? Did it, in that sense, was it what you thought it was going to be or not?
No, it wasn't. So, which is good because I think we both said we gave each other like a little pass, and we said if it gets to be Hostel, the movie Hostel, then we can nope out.
Exactly.
And I didn't nope out at all. I watched the whole fucking thing.
Same.
And I really liked it. So, and I think it did a lot of smart things. I think a couple things were gory that didn't need to be, because there is some gore in this, but
yeah, a little bit. Not nowhere. It is nowhere near gore.
Nowhere near.
Yeah,
well, because we had just been watching 101 Scariest Moments, which I still don't think is the right name for that show, because a ton of it was gore, right? Things in eyeballs and things exploding, and
a lot of eyeball penetration.
Funny because eyeballs was maybe in this thing. Well, we're spoiling it. Yeah, there's an eyeball thing in this thing. So I think it wasn't as bad, and I love the twists and turns it did. So overall, I liked it. That's my first thing, and you as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we really liked it. I was very leery that I was going to get lured into like some kind of a torture porn situation, because I'm not down for that.
Yeah.
But I do love horror. I love horror comedy, and this is actually way funnier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was it's not a comedy, but I feel like there was definitely moments where we were laughing out loud.
Well, it's almost like the director of it is going like, eh? To the audience, right? Because I want to make sure that it's not comedy.
No, it's not.
Right? Like there's some comedy in Cabin in the Woods, like hardcore, right?
Sure.
But this is like I felt like the director the whole time was being like, "Hey, I know you're watching this. What about this? Hey, what about this?" And he just keeps doing that, right?
Yeah, the middle section, I mean, spoiler free. I mean, we don't have to go into the whole thing, but
I thought we are spoiling.
I mean, no. Sorry, I meant to say not spoiler free. The opposite of spoiler.
Oh,
free.
right.
Purely spoiler.
Yes.
I just said the wrong thing. My bad. What I mean to say is, they went through there's almost like 3 chunks to this movie. You've got your beginning chunk, your middle chunk, and the end chunk. The middle chunk I thought was the closest to just straight up comedy. Like it was really funny. With the Justin Long guy.
Oh, Justin Long. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. That was kind of funny. Yeah. And then like in the end, you get a little history and stuff. But like, it was just like weird thing after weird thing after weird thing. And I think if I had to sum it up, I think this movie, I would probably call it like, Don't Do That, the movie, because every time people did something, I'm like, don't do that.
Right.
Like, why are you doing that? Like, why do you keep doing that? And me and my wife were just like laughing at each other, because every single thing they did, that was almost like the meta comedy of like, look at the stupid shit this guy's going to do. Look at the stupid shit this lady's doing. Can you believe that? I'm like, no, don't do that.
Well, I guess
then they do it.
The comedy part is Justin Long measuring
the
dungeon. It's weirdly enough, I was like, but that character would do that because he's like so fucking gone. At some point he wouldn't, because he'd be like insane. But I will say also, what I liked is that very few movies do this, but that kind of switching up the story like they did, where it's like you think it's this story, but it's not. It's actually this story, and then it goes in, like you said, in the past, and then it goes by the way, the past was done great with that fisheye lens.
Oh yeah.
Cinematography was done really well, and then it jumps into basically it ends in a monster movie.
Yes, it does.
And now it's just a monster movie. And it felt kind of video gamey. I don't know why I wrote down video gamey, like a video game kind of scenario, like a Silent Hill story or something. And almost mythical, like that creature couldn't really exist from crossbreeding, I don't think.
Well, and the fact that we're only talking about a span of 40 years, and they had mentioned, like generations down there. Well, okay, you had time for like maybe 2 generations. I don't know if you had enough time for like human mutants to breed in 40 years. That's not enough time,
The only dark hostile thing was what they alluded to, which I think is great, by the way. Didn't have to show it, and they didn't show it, but that guy killed a bunch of women.
Yeah.
And they did, and he had all these VHS tapes about it, but they didn't show any of it.
I'm so glad they didn't show that. I was cringe. I was cringe, and I'm glad they didn't do it.
Right, because you're like, okay, we're walking right into the hostile section of this movie.
Yeah.
And no, they didn't. They were like, no, it's pretty fucked up what he did, but we're not going to show you any of it.
And they didn't need to. It wouldn't have added anything except for gross out and bad feelings. So.
No, and to my point of the video game, now I know what it means, is like that woman down there, woman monster thing, she was like a monster from a video game. Like it was like
Resident Evil, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I would fight that in a hallway. So it felt like I was watching Resident Evil for a while now, you know? So overall, I just think that I liked it. It was fun. It changed my expectation because you think it's just that dude in the beginning. You know, like it's the creepy dude.
You think the guy's going to be a psycho, and he like all signs point to
yeah,
weird creeper incel dude, and it wasn't true. So.
Not at all. If any, and by the way, it's still unbelievable that he would go down there in the beginning, right?
I know, dude.
Because he's like, don't go down there. Why would he go? Because the only reason you think he's going down there is because he's going to lure her to come down, right?
Exactly.
And kill her.
Like, it's a perfect setup. You think he's going to kill her.
Yeah.
You think it's his dungeon. Yes, exactly.
It's smart. I don't know. I just really liked it. I didn't think the eyeball thing at the end needed to happen. Like, there's no reason for that.
To be fair, you're sensitive about eyeballs, though. That's one of your...
I am. My eyeballs
points,
are very big. I think that's the reason. They're huge. Have you seen any of my sketches? They're massive. And so I guess I'm afraid of them getting punctured. But no, it didn't add anything. She could have ripped his head off. I don't know. I didn't need that. But there wasn't enough gore to bother me. And I think it was smart and funny a little bit. And I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was not... I would say to anybody, if you're listening to this, you've already seen it, so you already know. Or if you're curious about it, and we didn't really tell you everything about the movie. I mean, I think you'd walk into the movie and still have a really good
I think we were kind of jumping around there.
Yeah. So just watch it. It's not hostile. It's not torture porn. It's a lot of surprises. It's a lot of like really weird left turns that you don't expect. And overall, I thought it was a really fun movie. We liked it a lot.
I'll add this to the ending. Is I made a sketch right after I finished watching it.
Yes, I saw your sketch. Yeah. Yes, I did.
There's two versions of it, so I'm not sure which version you saw. But in general, it's the alternative ending to Barbarian, which just like the video game, and I wish was in the Chant game, is that in the very beginning, you know, the guy's like, hey, you should come down in the basement. There's these tunnels down there. And the other character's like, yeah, I got to go. I'm leaving. I'm going to leave. I'm going to get in a car. I'm going to go to another town. And that's what you want to say a lot in this movie, you know. You're like, I'll just leave. I don't need to do any of that stuff. And she does come back. She comes back.
She does, yes. It is. And that's the beauty of the horror movie, because you get invested because you're constantly edge of your seat going, don't do that. And then you got to watch them do it. So that's the fun right there.
It's well done. That director, though, I'd like to see what else they can do. So
yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Thumbs up to Barbarian from me.
All right. Finish the podcast.
All right, folks. That is a show. As always, questions and comments, hit us up, SoVideoGamesPodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter @SoVideoGames. Don't know how much longer. And you can also reach us individually. Carlos, where are we directing your traffic this week?
Yeah, definitely not Twitter. I'm not going to be on that for a while. Not just because of Elon, but it's been a long time coming. I'm just so fucking over that system. If you use it for something that helps you, great. That's awesome. But in general, I think it's more problems than it's worth right now. And by the way, it's a constant, steady stream of negative stuff, right? Like, I think I just watched you jump off it for a little while, like a day or something. Yeah, I just think more and more people should take breaks from it. It only makes you, I think, add to it. Like, it's almost like its negativity forces you to give more negativity out, because then you start saying things like you don't agree with, and they don't agree with it, and no one agrees. And I'm like, okay, fuck off. I don't agree with anything that's happening here. I'm going to go play video games. And yeah, so I think people should just fucking, I'm not telling you to leave, but fucking leave. Anyway,
where can we direct your social media there,
instead,
Carlos?
just go to TikTok, because you're probably on there already. And yes, the Chinese are taking all your information, but whatever. Because
God,
it's a Chinese corporation. Yeah, TikTok is my name, Carlos Waddell.
All right. As for me, it's the same as always. I'm still on Twitter. I'm not planning to leave. I'll be there until, I don't know, they shut the door and turn off the lights, I guess. So
yeah.
It's my name. I'm still on Instagram. It's BradGallaway. I'm looking at a Mastodon that looks like a mess. I'm looking at co-host.
There's no good alternative yet right now.
Nothing seems great right now.
And Mastodon's too separate. Like the little servers you have to pick. It
It's
doesn't
just
work.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so nothing confirmed. I'll be on Twitter as long as I can be on Twitter. But you can always reach us. Email. You can always reach us at gamecritics.com, etc., etc. So you'll be able to find us.
Oh. Right before we leave that segment, I am going back to MySpace.
MySpace.
100%. I have an account. It's still active. I don't know who owns that company now. It used to be, what's his name? Justin. Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
No, the NSYNC.
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake, I think he owns part of the company. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going back to MySpace. Next episode, I'm going to drop my MySpace URL. And,
Maybe Tumblr. Who knows? That's making a comeback. So.
Oh yeah, kind of. But I think MySpace is funny. Okay.
All right. There we go. Episode 309 in the can. Thanks again for joining us here on So Video Games. See you next week. But in the meantime, this is bye from Brad.
Bye for Carlos. I actually like the ending of just see you next week.
There you go.
Can we switch it up?
We just did.
No, I know, but like from now on, let's just say, "It's see you next week."
I mean, we can. I'll put it in the notes, sure.
Okay, 'cause it just felt very normal when you said it. I immediately was like, "See you next week."